Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 4 of the Rink Moose Hockey Podcast, an episodic podcast where two, sometimes three, sometimes four, sometimes five good friends gather around a table, a kitchen, a hot tub, a bedroom, a fucking Caribbean island, and discuss all things NHL and their implications in the fantasy hockey universe. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Nick Costu. Today, alongside my good pal, as always, Kyle Nice. How are you doing, Kyle?
Good, Nick. As some of the YouTube viewers might be able to see, or wherever you're watching, I'm wearing this Pittsburgh Penguins jersey, this Montreal Canadiens hat, honoring the fallen. Honoring the fallen. I know it's a little bit of a mishmash, isn't it? But yes.
It's an awful-looking mishmash. It's awful, but they don't go together at all.
No, they don't. They don't.
Truly
they don't. Not. It's okay, though. So this is, I'm sure you haven't been looking at all the headlines, but people have been doing this thing where they post pictures of themselves last time Pittsburgh wasn't in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
It's like 06.
It's incredible.
So it's like,
that's incredible.
You know, we were 10 years old, Nick. We were 10 years old last time this happened. So it's an end of an era.
That's
it's
shocking.
The turning of a page. It's a horrible, tragic failing of management who's now been gutted. And you know what? We're not going to be talking about him today, so I thought I'd get him in because, you know, what would it be without talking about Pittsburgh in the playoffs? I'll have to get in my little word here. But you're in yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, fuck, sorry. My voice is just raspy as hell. Late night here in Aruba. But anyways, this Sid character and his team. So they had a tough stretch there at the end of the season. They needed to win a certain number of games. They were ahead. And so as someone who's on this island with no television and no resources at his disposal, what the hell happened here? What did it take for these guys to just fall out?
Well, like I said earlier, like the writing was on the wall from the beginning of the season. Like you
knew they were going to make it. And conversations with you almost knew they're done.
Because you know what? It wasn't just this last stretch. It was all over the season. They were losing like must-win games all over the place. All over the place. It just got kind of compounded at the last bit here, and it happened in shocking fashion. Like they had the easiest schedule.
Yeah.
I forget who they lost to. I think it was like
they lost to Chicago on Tuesday. 5-2.
Chicago.
That was the one, eh?
That's ridiculous.
At home.
They had the easiest schedule of all the three teams fighting for a spot. They're at home against Chicago. Chicago's got nothing going on. And you know that. They actually hurt themselves winning that game. So
They had it. They beat Minnesota. They beat Detroit. And then they had a Tuesday, Thursday game, Chicago Blue Jackets. And that one they lost to Chicago did them in.
I think combination of things. I think it's depth on forward is completely laughable.
Mm-hmm.
Goalies injured and shit. And then a team that's kind of a little bit fatigued with the current group, with the current messaging, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think the coach has got something to do with this too. I wouldn't be surprised if they find a new guy there too.
Yeah.
It's just a combination of things. Who knows what happens from here? Like new management's going to have to decide, is it a rebuild? Is it a retool? Let's get the guys going? Or do you sit down with the stars and say, hey, we're tearing this thing down. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? You know, do you want to stick around, or do you want to go be traded somewhere else? So
right,
and those decisions are going to be made soon. So,
and so what do you think happens from a player standpoint? Like, is who's going? Are Malkin Letang staying? Like, what's the deal here? Letang just re-signed. Clearly, he's got to stay. And then Malkin, is he off?
Yeah, sort of both of those guys, but that's tricky, man. Like, I don't think. At the end of the day, ownership is going to have a say when they're hiring these GMs. Like, here's what's going to happen. You have to make this sort of thing happen. I think that they retool, they go for a short-term plan. To me, I don't see how that can work, though. You know, they don't have any assets to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe, you know what? Maybe they can't retool.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a hard look in the mirror and they say, next year we're going to
blow it up.
Things go. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
and go from there. And then I think, the Letang I think is going to retire. Like that's where I'm going with all his health issues. Yeah. And then Malkin, I could see him. To be honest, I don't know if I see Malkin joining another team either.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's pretty long in the tooth. He's up there at 37, and he's still got a lot of gas left. But I don't know. That's hard. He's had injury troubles too, of course.
Yeah, he had a good season.
He did. All of them did. The three of them did. It's just. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that situation.
Tragic. Yeah.
I think the only way forward is the rebuild, but the Stars kind of prevent that, which is just bad for the fans, man. Bad for the fans.
Okay, so Florida sneaks in. Islanders sneak in the East. We'll get into them shortly.
Devastating.
And then in the West, Winnipeg sneaks in. Calgary and Nashville out. What are your thoughts on those two there? Specifically Calgary. Is this going to be problematic? Is our elf friend Daryl Sutter gone?
I mean, he should be gone. He's got some sort of weird relationship with the GM there. Like what an underperformance all around in Calgary. Like they didn't deserve to win. They didn't deserve to get into the playoffs. Look at Huberdeau as culprit number one of just like that is a symbol of that team not working under that coaching group. So, hey, listen, they needed this as a kick in the pants to change something. Maybe that gets him out. We love the guy. I don't want him to be out of the league.
Right.
But I think the farm is calling on this one, Nick. I think the farm is calling. The cows need to be milked.
Right. They need to be milked.
And he's going home. I think he's going home, honestly.
He's going home. And so what is this just flawed?
Whoa!
Oh, fuck. He just barges in. Okay.
Here?
Wow, this is totally off the cuff. This is just out of the fucking blue.
This is off the reservation.
Wow. Okay, so for those who can't see on YouTube, John Ramo Rossi, latest member of the Rink Moose rotation, has just joined the building, and he is here to join our playoff preview show. John Ramo, we were just talking about the teams that didn't get into the playoffs, Pittsburgh and Calgary, namely. Yeah. What the hell do you have to say about that?
You know what? First of all, I just want to say thanks again, guys, for having me on. It's great to see everybody.
I love this impromptu. Yeah, this is great.
So,
it's like a radio hit.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. So, listen, I'm going to start with the Pens because I'm beyond disappointed in how their season turned out. I mean, I think how we spoke about this last time. I think me specifically, where we kind of talked about how you have an aging core, something like I think their average age is like 32, 33. Like these next 2 years might be the last two we get to see Sid, Malkin, and Letang play at their prime, right? So I think when you're looking at this from a management perspective, how do you not go all in with everything the franchise, with everything these three guys have given you, right? 3 Stanley Cups. They've been, the best team arguably in the league to watch overall for maybe the last 15 years, right? Like they've just been consistently good, and you go out there and you don't even give them the pieces they need to compete. And I think they were too passive at the deadline, and we spoke about that. But to me, the disappointment's there because you have a team that's really at their last kick of the can. You don't go all out. And then the fact that they fired upper management so quickly, the fact we've seen Hextall gone, Burke gone, that tells you that they're kind of taking the same view I think that we all have here, which is it's not the players that fail. This is an aging core, right? Malkin coming out saying it's a young man's game is his way of saying, you guys gave us nothing. You gave us nothing to work with here because we're running on fumes, still putting up 80 points a season at 35, 36 years old, but we need the support, and they just didn't get it, right? Like that back end is not good enough, and the front end, right, it just wasn't good enough. So I'm definitely disappointed in the Pens. In terms of the other teams, Ottawa, Buffalo,
Buffalo. Oh, don't get me started on Buffalo. Heartbreaking.
Listen, young teams, right? Young teams that were bound to go through this, but they'll learn. This was a valuable lesson for both of them. Listen, they're both going to be great teams. And as a Leaf fan, it bothers me because that Atlantic division is going to be almost impossible in the next coming years to win, right? It's going to be unbelievable when all that talent finally gets to the level where they can win. But listen, lessons learned. Even listening to Brady Tkachuk at the end of the year saying, we didn't make it, but it felt different this year. That's a feeling that they'll learn from and that they'll move on from. So I got nothing but good things to say about them. It's just Pittsburgh's the one that really irks me because it's like they just did nothing for the players, right? Like to me, it's just a slap in the face after 15 years of everything these guys have given. You don't even go out and put every egg in the basket to say, go out and give me one more. You know what I mean? So that bothers me a lot.
And I'll post a similar comment to the Tkachuk one.
Yep.
This year we became a team.
Yeah.
Huge. And before we go anywhere, I can't progress in this Rink Moose podcast episode without getting John Ramo's take. Tell me about Devin Levi.
Oh, dude.
What are your thoughts on the
kid's
kid,
a stud.
man?
Like, okay, we all watched that World Juniors, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And listen, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, right? So I come from a background where I like seeing these guys that aren't giants come into the league and just absolutely tear it out. But Devin Levi is the biggest competitor when it comes to that I've seen in a while. Like I get like Vasilevsky vibes when I watch him in terms of his compete level. But man, the guy's he's all over the crease, but it's composed. You know, like if you right, so like Kyle, I know you watch a little more Buffalo than you're in, but when you watch UPL compared to Devin Levi and net, they're two totally different styles. But UPL's like the guy, right? The big prospect, the big numbers in the minors. But Devin Levi's the guy that just like he just works hard, man. Like the guy wants it. And when you watch him, it's like, how do you not look at Devin Levi as the goalie of the future? Like I think he's got a shot to be a very good number one. And if he continues on his trajectory, and listen, he's playing in front of a young team, right? Like you put him in front of the Boston Bruins team, he's got a .930 save percentage all year, and he's playing like Jeremy Swayman, right? But you put him in a team that's still maybe a little fragile on the back end, but man, that gives those D-man confidence to say, hey, this isn't UPL or this isn't a guy that's just, you know, fucking Swiss cheese in the back of the net, right? Like they got a guy that they can say, if we make a mistake, he can back us up. And if he makes a mistake, we know we can go out and score goals. So big fan of Devin Levi, always have been. Again, I think it's another player of Buffalo that you're like, damn, it's it's another weakness that they've almost filled. He's got a long way to go, obviously, and with goaltenders, you know, they go from hot to cold. But the way Devin Levi plays and his attitude tells me he's going to be in this league for a long time and he's going to be a good goalie. So Buffalo's got another great one on the hand. And man, like I got to take my hats off because they were a dumpster fire for so many years with their moves. And now it's like everything they touch seems to be turning to gold. So it's good to see for hockey. Leaf fan, I hate it. But again, I can put my bias aside here. They're an exciting team to watch.
Mm-hmm. No, I was watching that Ranger game, and he was going one-on-one v. Shesterkin, and he just killed it. Levi was exceptional in the shootout. Yeah. And then Naselli when they won. I mean, that just you're right, John Rainbow. He just wants it. The passion is there. Man. The kid just wants it.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the team and him ran out. Ran out of steam there at the end. They got blown up in New Jersey the following night. But that's what happens. Like you said, they became a team. And what a run! What a run for the Sabres.
Yeah, and you know what? It kind of gives me shades of that year after the Leafs, drafted Matthews, where. Like we'd see him alone and even beyond that. Like I look at that early game in the season when they played the Rangers, and the Rangers were a really good team, and they were there. And you see the Leafs drop 7 goals in 2 periods, but they give up 4 or 5. Where it was like you saw the explosiveness, but you saw the immaturity. And I think with Buffalo, you're still seeing that where they'll go out and score 7 and then get pumped for 7 the next day. It's just growing pains. As a fan, you got to look at that and say. You love it and you hate it, but there's going to be more of those good days than there will be bad days. So they're only trending upwards. But it's a young team, man. Like if they weren't getting blown up by 7 goals, you'd be almost concerned and be like, "Wow, how are the kids doing it?" Right? Because this doesn't happen. You have to expect that. So to me, those aren't red flags, right? That's just part of the growing pains. The red flags would be if they couldn't bounce back. But they're a team that'll score 7, give up 7, and then they'll win 2-1. And you're like, that's the hard-nosed game they got to play sometimes. So,
And they were good down the stretch. They fought. They had that kind of fighter's mentality.
Absolutely.
They won their fair share of games. They lost a tough one.
They did.
And at the end of the day, that was it. But, what a year.
And Kyle, like, the East is tough. Like, you think about the teams they played. Like there's no easy team anymore in the East. Like, even the Islanders are like that's still a tough team to play. Like, you got to go through, like, Ilya Sorokin, like it's a tough, like there's no easy games in the East. Like what? Montreal, like Detroit to an extent, but they're kind of growing slowly. Maybe not as fast as people expected, but they're getting like it's tough to make the playoffs in the East this year. So I don't blame them. I think if you put that Buffalo team in the West, I guarantee you they make the playoffs, 100%.
Yep.
Right. So they can't be too disappointed in themselves and know, hey, we didn't maybe play the best down the stretch per se at some points, but really like it's the East. You know what I mean? Like they got to give themselves some credit here.
Yeah. 100%.
Without further ado, now that the intros and the postmortems are out of the way, this, of course, being our playoff preview show, we're going to go through each of the 8 series. We're going to give our predictions, who's going to win, how many games, all that fun stuff. So, Kyle, where would you like to start us today? You said you had an idea where you wanted to take this, so why don't you...
You know what? Why don't we start with the East now? Because we got all our personnel here.
Okay. So, so where are we starting here? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go with this?
Well, let's see. What
are you itching? What team are you itching to talk about? Good or bad take here?
Let's start at the top of the rotation. Let's start the easy one, the Boston-Florida matchup.
Okay.
What do you say?
Okay. This one's easy for me. I mean, looks like Florida snuck in last minute. This could arguably be Pittsburgh's spot. This could arguably be,
should have been Pittsburgh's
Buffalo's spot. Yeah, should have been Pittsburgh's. Could have been Buffalo's. But Florida sneaks in. I think this is a good matchup for Boston. I think had it been the Islanders, potentially Boston would have been a little more fearful because, as you said, John Ramo, that's a little more of a scarier playoff team.
Yep.
But Florida, here they are again, second kick at the can after the disappointing series last year against the Lightning. Paul Maurice barely gets his team in. But hey, listen, we've beaten the drum on this show. I mean, this is not the same team as last year. Chemistry has been thwarted with. Guys have been very disappointing. Aaron Ekblad, their goaltending. I mean, they have fucking Alex Lyon as their starting guy. My roommate asked me the other day, he said he was watching Leafs Florida. He said, "Who's Alex Lyon, Nick?" I'm like, man, he's this career AHLer who just happens to now be Florida starter. Like, isn't that fucking wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
So I'm seeing this, and I'm just like, man, you can't go on I know we love our Hamburglar shit. We love these stories of these goalies, picking up the baton last minute. But I'm not buying it against Boston. Like, you're not pulling that shit against the big bad Bruins. Number 1 seed. Most wins in NHL. What was it? History?
History, yeah.
What was?
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Most
unbelievable.
Points,
what applause!
too.
Incredible. The fact they won all those games at the end of the year, even when they were resting guys, it shows how much fucking depth they have. It bit me in the ass in my fantasy league because I lost Bergeron, I lost McAvoy. Like, my team was all Bruins, and it totally fucked me at the end.
Jeez.
But this team, but it shows you the depth is legit. And I think they're going to get it done. I think they're going to get it done in 4 games. Sweep of Florida.
Wow.
That's my take.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, let me just add a couple things on Florida here. I mean, it's not okay. So they're coming in pretty hot. They were great down the stretch. So they clawed to get in here. Ever since Keith Tkachuk called them soft against Ottawa, they've been a different team. Like, I can't take that away from them. But this Florida team, and a lot of the core is still there for it.
Yeah.
They're perennial kind of chokers. They're underachievers in the playoffs. Like, this is a team that's won divisions, man. Like, this is a team that's been the guys, and then they've fallen flat on their face. Now they got this guy Matthew Tkachuk, who a lot of people from the outside might think, oh, what a great playoff performer. He's really not. He's sort of a similar vein where he's been looked at a guy, oh, this guy's going to be great. This guy's going to be a killer in the playoffs. And sometimes it doesn't happen, So I don't have a ton of faith in these guys either, as it so happens. And that's not even getting into Boston and all their silly elements, which I guess I might as well jump in on just quickly on them. I took a quick look at the Cup winners from the last 10 years before we started this. And kind of looked at all the elements that made them successful. I looked at the Conn Smythe winners, the strengths, the weaknesses. Boston has all of the strengths of these teams that won. They've got the goalie, they've got the defense, they've got the depth, they've got the star power, they've got the offensive depth, they've got the character. They've got it all, man. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's going to be 4 games. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. God damn. They're so good. They're so good.
Wow.
We going to go 3 for 3 here with the sweeps, John Ramo? What are you saying, bud?
You know what? There's something about President's Trophy winners that scares the living shit out of me. And I don't know what it is, but there's something about when I look at this series, right? I think Florida's horrific at the back end. They leak goals like nobody's business. Their goaltending is, I mean, you want to talk about an albatross contract. Like, man, Sergei Bobrovsky's contract looks horrible right now.
10 mil to be heating the bench.
Putting that aside, there's something about that hot streak in Florida. And listen, I'm not saying they're going to win the series, but I'm saying that if Florida's offense clicks and gets it right, my God, are they a scary team. Like, this team can score at will. And I get it. They lost Huberdeau. They lost Weegar. But you look at that front end and think, like, there really isn't much that they can't handle on their day. They just haven't seen their day enough this season to give me confidence that they could win the series. But I think back of, I watched Tampa Bay and Columbus, and it's going to be it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy.
Right. True.
The playoffs are just completely different. And I think that one thing that people maybe aren't looking at enough is, we've talked about for years in Toronto how is the goaltending good enough? Does the goaltending have experience, right? I look at Boston and I think Linus Ullmark's been an average goaltender outside of this season. Jeremy Swayman's a young goalie that hasn't played in these big moments yet. But it seems to be getting talked over everywhere I go where it's like, Boston's this. And listen, they're an unbelievable. And if I looked at those 10 teams, I'd tell you they have all the elements. And this season, Linus Ullmark has been, bar none, the best goalie in the league without a doubt, alongside Jeremy Swayman. But Linus Ullmark's never won a playoff game and has played in a couple playoff games and has been disastrous. I believe he was pulled in both. So my question is if their goaltending holds up, without a doubt, it's going to be a 4-game sweep. But if that Florida offense kicks off and they don't perform or the pressure gets to them in the playoffs, I'm not saying the Panthers will win the series, but they can make things a little nervy for Boston. And again, I have this hoodoo about teams that win the President's Trophy that always seem to collapse. Like, the only outlier for me in terms of teams that won the Cup was really Colorado last year. They weren't a great defensive team, but they scored like it was nobody's business. And everyone's like, the scoring goes down in the playoffs. It's about defense. They were the only team that was like, they seemed to play like the regular season last year in the playoffs. And I think that if Boston can't get the offense going, because they're not an incredible offensive team, like they have guys that carry them, but they're really still a one-line team of Bergeron, Marchand, and like Pastrnak. Like they don't have the best secondary scoring, but they play like such a unit. I just think that if Florida can get on the thing, I think Florida will win one game at least. I just think the Panthers will win. I'm going to go with a 4-1 series win. I don't think it'll be a sweep, but again, Boston's got all the elements. Kyle, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. They have, like, you look at their defensive pairings and, McAvoy and Brandon Carlo, Lindholm, Orlov. It's like there's no weakness. Like they're just filled with guys that can move the puck, defend the crease. I think if Linus Ullmark plays great, I think they'll go very deep. But I'm going to go with the 4-1 series win for Boston. I don't see the same upset like I see when I watch Columbus. That was a hard-nosed team that had firepower, right? We're talking Duchesne, Panarin. Like, they had guys that could play. Florida's got that, but I just think the goaltending is so bad, they just won't be able to hold it. So I'm going to go with the 4-1 Boston win. I mean, like, Boston's scary, man. Like, what a team. What a team they put together over there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And the last thing on Florida, I just don't think they have any clout here or any chance of pulling off an upset because I think Paul Maurice is a fucking schmuck.
So do I.
And I watched that. Yeah, I look back at that game against the Leafs where he had that yelling. Remember he yelled at his team on the bench?
Yeah.
And the team didn't even respond.
No.
Like, the team didn't even respond. Like, it happened mid-period, and the team didn't even play that well the rest of the period. And they won off a fluky goal at the end of that third period. Like, it wasn't even correlated to that yelling. They played an awful game. They got lucky.
And unbelievable goaltending is the reason, too. They won.
And unbelievable goaltending. That game was a mess. But I'm telling you, that guy's a schmuck. I don't think the team respects him. No. And that moment there where he called them out and they didn't respond, that's all I needed to see. Whereas those Bruins, they love Jimmy Montgomery. They play for him.
What a coach,
and I just, what a coach.
Wow.
What a story. What a story. Guy's an alcoholic, takes a step away from the game, and now he's going to coach his team to a cup. You like that, Kyle? That's an Oscar award-winning film there.
I do. Where's he from? Do you know?
What do you mean? Where's he from? Oh, like Canadian or American?
Yeah, like what's his hometown?
I have no fucking clue. I know he used to coach U of Denver, so I reckon he's American.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up.
University coaches, man, don't get enough credit, but I'm pretty sure that even I believe Buffalo's coach Don Granato, I believe he came from Boston University, wasn't right? Did he not come from BU as the coach?
Yeah.
Right?
These
college guys that coach these really good programs, teams got to start giving these guys a look, because I think these guys are really good coach. I mean, and it's proving it, right? Like, Don Granado's turned this Buffalo team around. As much as trades have been good, but they've turned them around. But I mean, wow, yeah, Jim Montgomery's been just an absolute stud behind the bench.
So
and to fact check that, Quebec, Montreal, Quebec.
Yes. What are the odds, right? Like, you wouldn't think.
What a guy!
You wouldn't think.
What a guy! Okay, moving on. I reckon we'll go to the other series.
Rangers.
Okay. We're going to go Rangers. Rangers, Devils. Some would argue the marquee series of the first round. Some would make that
Who
contention.
Would argue that? Come on.
I think a lot of people are arguing that's the marquee matchup, because it's
those in the metro area there, yeah.
Right. So I'll take the lead on this one, because there's actually a funny little connection here. So John Ramo, I'm in Aruba right now. That's why I haven't been in the office.
You know what?
That's why I haven't seen
3 weeks.
I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
Man. Yeah, dude, I've been off sick for 3 weeks from work, so
I
just
shit.
got back
Okay.
now. Yeah. Went through a bout of myocarditis, so I've been out for about 3 weeks.
Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, I was worried about you.
So I was
feeling good now.
Yeah, you know what? Thankfully, everything's great. Turned out to be healthy. Just a little bit of an infection that's being dealt with, but yeah, thankfully everything's good. But we're back on now, so it's really good to be back. So yeah, it's nice.
Beautiful. But yeah, needless to say, not in the office. I'm on this island, and we were at a bar yesterday, and New Yorkers love Aruba. Okay. Every time you run into an American, 90% of the time, it's either I'm from New Jersey, Long Island. They got the accent going, and they're a mouthful. These New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And this guy the other day, he's a big Ranger fan, and we get talking. I'm like, so what are you thinking? What do you what's your finger on the pulse of this series? Come on, give me something. And he's like, honestly, man, like, this guy's a diehard Ranger fan. He's like, honestly, man, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. And he said, Jack Hughes, that motherfucker, he's had our number all year. And we got to put up with this guy in a playoff series, and his brother. Now his brother's on the team. Like, what? And this guy, he had fits. He was like sweating. And he was terrified of this Devils team. And I said, man, come on. But they don't have a goalie. You guys got Igor. They don't have a guy like Igor. Yeah. Come on. Like, give me something. And he's like, no, man. Like, they've had our number all year. They've outplayed us all year. Maybe you could attest to that, Kyle, because you watch those Ranger games more than I do. But he really was high on the Devils to the point where he sincerely thought they could upset them. So that's his take. That was his take. And so I'll pass the baton to you guys. Kyle, you can take the lead here. You were so eager to talk about it.
I think that's just a bad take.
Yeah, honestly. Bad take. Well, that's just an objectively bad take from this random guy at the fucking bar in Aruba.
Here's the thing: the Rangers fans. Here's what I've noticed about them, because I follow them a lot on Twitter and whatnot. They have such a high standard for this team all the time that they get so negative and so down about like kind of dumb stuff that it's just the course of the season it's going to happen. So looking at looking at the rosters simply on paper from a regular season standpoint, I think the Rangers have the better roster. They've got star power. They've got, 40-goal scorer Mika Zibanejad. They've got Adam Fox Norris kind of guy. Yep. They've got the goalie, the Vezina winning goalie. They've got the depth. The kid line sometimes is their best line. Rangers fans will tell you that all day long.
Laugher.
And so right on paper, it's the Rangers, right? And then I consider the just kind of looking a little deeper. you know how we always talk about in the playoffs, the game changes.
Yep.
Maybe that doesn't happen as much as it did 5 years ago, but if it happens even a little bit, it favors the Rangers.
Yeah.
It absolutely favors the Rangers. The star power on New Jersey, they're small. They haven't been here before.
Yep.
They haven't experienced how this is going to change, and the goalie hasn't. It's just the Rangers went to the conference finals, man. Like the kid line was great in the playoffs. Everything points Rangers for me in this one. Me and Nick, we said in the last thing, we kind of see the Devils as a bit of a pretender. Maybe that was a bit of an overstretch. You got Timo Meier there. You've got, you got some pieces. I love Nico Hischier in this kind of series. But, no, for me, this is a slam dunk. If it's a playoff series, it feels like playoffs. It could be quick. If it feels like regular season, it could go 6 games. But I'll go Rangers in 5.
Wow.
Yeah, spicy. I know.
Yeah.
I just looked at the roster, man, and I was like, this is a complete roster. I love the defense on paper. I don't always love the coaching. That's my one gripe with the team. But that's me with the Rangers. I think they could go far, man. I think they could meet Boston in the conference finals.
John Ramo?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that take at all, Kyle. In fact, I think the fan you were speaking to in Aruba is maybe a little too pessimistic about it. But I think when I look at New Jersey, I see a slightly more mature version of the Buffalo Sabres. A team with a lot of young firepower, but they've got a couple more years of being there. And their defense started at a little bit of a better place, obviously because of Dougie Hamilton. But when I look at them, they're a young team. Their goaltending is what worries me. Like even when they started the season, when they win like 10 games in a row at one point this year, and then they like bottled out like 7 losses in a row. Like they're a team that's been streaky, but towards the end of the season, they kind of picked up the pace a little bit and played better. Their goaltending worries me a lot. I don't think Vitek Vanacek is good enough to be the guy. I don't think he can carry them through a season. Like dealing with the Rangers' star power through a 7-game series, he might steal a game. Every goalie does once in a while. But to do it over the course of a series, I don't think Vitek's got it. I think, harping back on Kyle, what you said about you looked at the last 10 winners, the Rangers team looks pretty damn similar to those teams that won it too. You know what I mean? They got the goaltending. They got the Norris caliber D. They got a top 6 that can absolutely burn you, and the kid line that can turn it on whenever they want. You know what I mean? And would be a first line if they could keep it up for an entire season. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like, that's what's 100%. Scary about it, is like those guys haven't hit their peak yet. Like, they could have genuinely 3 first lines and a second line. That's how good that team is depth-wise. For the Rangers, I think the pessimism comes because of the way the series has gone between the two teams this year. And yes, the Devils have had their number, but like you said, if the playoffs change or if they don't, that will definitely have an impact. But this, I think, is another one of those series where I can comfortably say the Rangers. I think the Devils will learn a lot from this series, but they can score goals whenever too, but it's that back end, it's the goaltending. It worries me, and I've seen the Devils have spells this season where they get pumped for 6 or 7. I haven't seen the Rangers get turned over too many times this season, and if they did, it was before they made all these moves at the deadline. I'm going with Rangers in 6. I think the Devils will sneak a couple games, but to me, my MVP of this series is 100%. It's going to be Igor. I have this feeling Igor's going to just – and if he is the MVP, who's not saying they can't sweep the Devils? Like, if Igor honestly turns it on, there's, no team can beat that. Like, the guy's a world beater. So I'm either thinking it's a sweep if Igor's got the MVP. If Igor plays just well, I think they'll win in 6.
Yeah, and that was one thing this gentleman at the bar mentioned, is that Igor has not had as good a season this year. Him having watched all these games, he's let in some slippery ones we're not used to. This isn't the Vezina winning year he had last year. But I was like, listen, man, he's picked it up lately. If you look at his splits, the last 10, 15 games, it's been much better. I watched that shootout against Devon Levi when they were playing Buffalo, and he was incredible. Shesterkin was not the reason they lost that. No. He looks so, like John Ramo, you can speak to this more. He's so technically sound, that guy. His hand's always up. Like, every time he goes down, he's always perfect positioning, square to the puck. Love it.
When I watch him, he, man, he makes goaltending look too easy. And it's funny because Rangers fans will tell you he's had a down year. but it's like his down year is better than 95% of the league. And
Exactly.
like for him to have a year like he had last year every year is impossible. Like guys can't do like I can guarantee you Linus Ullmark this season, this will be the best year of his career ever. Like it's impossible to play at this level for the course of a career. Even a guy like Carey Price, he wasn't doing it at the numbers that Igor's been doing the last 2 years. But he gives me shades of Carey Price in terms of his composure, right? I talked last time about Jonathan Quick and how he's the complete opposite. You know, you look at the screen and he's on the left side, and you look right, and within a millisecond, the guy's in the splits halfway across the net making an unreal save. Carey Price will do it, but with composure. Igor's with composure. He's in the right spot, but man, when he's got to be athletic, he can be athletic. But he doesn't need to be because he's so good. His positioning is great. He's got a good stick. His hands are excellent. He reads the game very well, and he minimalizes movement in the crease. He gets to where he needs to go without having to look like he's got to give every ounce of effort. He's an effortless goaltender that stops the puck. He is, and he's got a defense core in front of him that he can rely on. 110%. This guy right now, aside from Ullmark having the best year, in terms of the best overall goalie in the league, I would have to give it to Igor just above a guy like Connor Hellebuck. But Igor's my guy. I rave about this guy all the time. The Rangers are a scary team. I could easily see a Boston-New York conference final.
Yeah.
Like written in the stars, man. 100%.
It just, to me, the Rangers just the lineup across the board just looks more playoff built. You know,
like
they're just built. Like you see the defense. Lindgren is a tough motherfucker. That guy takes pucks to the face all the time.
Yeah.
Jacob Trouba, who, you know, we all know how much he can, you know, hit guys when he wants to. Adam Fox, arguably the Norris Trophy winner.
Yep.
And then, you know, guys Kyle loves, Braden Schneider. And then Keandre Miller, the growth we've seen from him. You know, It's an incredible defense. It's an incredible defense. They don't get enough credit. And then, they have so much depth from a scoring standpoint. And, of course, Igor. So, to me, I mean, the Devils just don't match up as well. I mean, like Dougie Hamilton, that guy's been cursed in the playoffs. He can't win in Carolina. He can't win in Calgary. What makes me think that guy can lead a defense to the promised land? You know, I think he's got the yips. He's got the playoff yips, and I'm not going to put money on guys who have the playoff yips. So I'm not putting my money on the Devils. So I'm going to Rangers.
I just can't see a weakness.
I'm going Rangers in 6. Rangers in 6.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like that. I just think like one final.
You
Sorry.
go.
No. I just want like one last small point on the Rangers is like. Kyle, like I can't see a weakness when I look at the team, you know? Like, they're similar to Boston where there's not a guy I can pinpoint and say, yeah, he could fuck them up, or, sorry for my language, but, you know, right, like, he could mess up the series, but I look at the Devils and think Vitek Vanacek's too big of a question mark for me to give them any reliance. The Rangers are just built to win. And I think they'll do it.
Yep. One underrated factor here is, and Nick sort of mentioned Jacob Trouba. The Trouba factor is huge. Last year when my Pittsburgh Penguins were playing when they were playing the Rangers, I was terrified. I was terrified of this guy.
Yep.
It was like, and every other team is too, man. Like he takes guys' heads off in the play, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's a nice thing to do. But fuck, like you think about Jack Hughes going into the corner with that guy a couple times. Come on, man. The guy's 180 pounds. Come on, man. This, like, he can scare teams in a big way. It takes a Boston, it takes a Tampa to not be intimidated by that.
Yeah.
You know, because they're heavier, more veteran teams. But, like, a New Jersey team, they could, like, I mean, talk about Hischier, Hughes, Mercer. These guys aren't big guys.
No.
Like, look up. Like, you better have your head up, man. I'm telling you, it's an intimidation factor.
Moving right along, we got Carolina against Islanders. Probably the least marquee of the 4. You know, one could argue. Snooze fest. I think that's certainly what the Islanders are thinking here. You know, let's try to win every game 2-1, 1-0. Hope Sorokin can kind of keep us in these games.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, lots of ways you can take this. I mean, lots of people don't like the Carolina because Svechnikov obviously has been the latest big injury. and that's going to set them back.
Yep.
Islanders had a kind of a heater finish. Went on a run, secured that playoff spot. Sorokin kind of legitimized his name as a Vezina Trophy candidate.
Yep.
So many ways you can take this. So I'll open up the floor. Kyle, what do you think is going to happen in this series?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one for me. These are two teams that I don't have a huge hold on, but I look at the injuries on Carolina with the Svechnikovs out and obviously Pacioretty we haven't seen for most of the year.
Yeah.
And then I look at their depth. I mean, Kotkaniemi has taken a big step this year, sure, but as a second line center, I don't know if that's my favorite. The depth is good, man. Like it's not bad. The top six doesn't give me any sort of confidence in Carolina.
Yeah.
Obviously, where their strength is that back end and their defensive play. But you could also say the same thing about the Islanders too. For that, and you know what? You look at the Islanders. I think Barzal's coming back. To be honest, I think I heard that he's suiting up. And
it looks that way.
Yep.
Whether he's fully healthy, who knows? Why I lean Islanders in this case is that they're both really great defensively. I think probably Carolina has the edge in terms of goal scoring. But to me, this is the goalie battle. This is going to be a Sorokin series. And I think that's what gets it done. I think it's going to be a lot of 2-1, 3-2 games. And you know what? The Islanders, to be fair, they've got a lot of experience in the playoffs. We tend to forget they went to the conference finals 2 years in a row when Tampa won their cups. So they know what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
And I think Sorokin's poised to maybe steal this one and cause an upset. And I don't have a lot of faith in Carolina. They haven't showed me anything to suggest that they should be the ones to go on a run here. I like Aho. Don't like Kotkaniemi. Nikas is young. Seth Jarvis is young. I mean, those guys are both in the top six. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be Islanders in 7 games. 7 brutal games that I will probably not watch. But, that's the way I see it going. It's a Sorokin difference maker.
Interesting.
John Ramo.
Yeah. You know what? Kyle, man, you've been reading my mind this morning. I'm gonna start just by flat out saying, I'm going Islanders in 7, and it's funny because as soon as the series came up, I'm like, for sure that's what I'm thinking, Islanders 7. But the Sorokin factor, it's really the only thing you can point out when you look at the Islanders, right? Because it's not like there's a guy we can look at and say, like this line can swing the series. Like, there's some offensive firepower here and there, but they're more of a defensive team, right? They're a team that can grind you out, can grind games out, and can win games that maybe they don't deserve to win. They don't put up a lot of shots. You know what I mean? They're not a high puck possession team. They get the puck in deep. They try to cause some turnovers, and they score on the few opportunities they have. The power play's not lethal, but the penalty kill's good, right? Yep. So you got a strong penalty kill, and you have a goaltender that's another world beater, right? Another guy that can single-handedly win you a series, maybe 2. And I think if Ilya Sorokin shows up, it would be a nightmare for Carolina because Carolina they've always been top puck possession and top shots, but yet they don't score goals because they just shoot for volume. They don't shoot for quality. And I think that plays into Sorokin. Like Nick, we played net. There's nothing better than when you get the boatload of shots from the outside that get you into the game. The last thing Carolina wants to do is start stepping in and taking blue line shots and getting Sorokin warm because the minute he gets warm, they're done. Okay, they don't generate high offensive slot shots. They don't generate high danger chances at a rate that would be consistent with a team that finished, second in the league? Their offense is nowhere near a second in the league type of offense, right? But they get it done on the back end. And the difference is their defense isn't going to matter per se as much against a team that doesn't play a high-octane offense. The Islanders are content with dumping the puck in and grinding it out, right? They're not looking for rush chances or turnovers. You know what I mean? They're there to grind out these wins. It's going to play into, I think, the Islanders' hands because they're going to be like, shoot all you want, right? Ilya's got it, no problem. But give us those 1 or 2 openings. Let us take those 1 or 2 chances. They only need a 1 or 2-0 lead to win the game, right? And for Carolina, it's worrisome because they can't score like a Colorado, a Tampa, a Boston, a Toronto. They can't score at that rate. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I have to give the edge to the Islanders. And again, Carolina, maybe as a team, maybe they kind of got the yips too because high shots,
Oh my God, yeah.
high save percentage, but another team that they just can't get over that hump. You know what I mean? And they don't have an offensive guy. Like, they can't turn to, like, Sebastian Aho and say, win us a series. He's a great player,
No.
but he's not that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
They don't have the
Sorokin's a
game
guy
breaker.
all three of us
Yeah.
can look at. Exactly. Sorokin's a guy you can look at and say, yeah, that guy's a game breaker. Yeah, he's a goalie, but
Yeah.
he's a game breaker. Carolina doesn't have that. They don't
Yeah.
have a game breaker. And there's a lot of question
Yeah.
marks in that, right? Because Anderson hasn't been healthy.
Oh my God, yeah.
They got the young, what's his name? The rookie they got there.
The Russian, yeah.
It's like Kochkov or whatever his name. I don't even know if I'm saying
Yeah,
it correctly.
Kochekov.
Right?
Kochekov.
Yeah, Kochekov. And then it's like,
And they got Ronta. It's like a fucking. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's
three.
like
Yeah,
Andy's
man.
like, what?
It's yeah.
so it's
Listen,
like, they
it's
don't have
weird.
consistency
Yeah.
in net. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
It's what you
Islanders
spoke
7.
about. It's what you spoke about last time, John Ramos. These goalies, they got to get on a run, right? They got to build confidence. You got to be able to
100%.
strut out a guy there every game who's got the gusto, who can win a game.
Yeah.
And all year in Carolina, it's been a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's been like each guy playing like 20, 30 games.
I know.
It's just been kind of weird. Freddie fell off the face of the earth. We didn't know this guy could have been in Siberia. He could have been in Siberia for 2/3 of the year. He just was not available. Fantasy, you look him up, there were no fantasy updates coming when he was injured.
Insane.
So something's up. His save percentage this year, 903.
Yeah.
Like, that's
League
awful.
average.
Over
On this
30
team.
games,
On
a
this
903. Antti Ranta's got a 910. Like, this is arguably your better goalie of the three. The kid, Kochekov, he's been in the AHL most of the year.
Yeah.
So they don't have a goalie who's confident, who's on a run here. And meanwhile, staring across from you is the fucking, in my opinion, the Vezina Trophy winner. I
He's
know
intimidating,
Hellebuck's
man.
getting a lot of love.
Jeez.
I know the guy in Boston's getting a lot of love.
Yeah.
But to me, it's Sorokin because he's been the most indisplaceable of all those goalies. He faces the most shots,
Yeah.
and the guy fucking keeps him in games. Like, end of the year, Varlamov was just on the bench every game.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
Lou
yeah.
Lamoriello was sending Sorokin out every game, and he's just like, "You're my
unbelievable.
workhorse. You're going to win these games for us." And I love that attitude. And I just think it's the better goalie here. I want to bet on the better goalie.
Yeah.
Like John Ramo, I have a more defeatist mindset than you, but there's games where I'm in the crease, the game's starting, and I see that goalie across from me, and I
like,
see
here
the
we go
shit he's
again.
pulling off,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't think I could win this game.
But Nick,
I know that's a defeatist attitude, but like sometimes you look across from you and you're like, that guy's fucking good. The doubt seeps in, and I think Freddie Anderson's gonna have the same reaction.
and
Oh God.
Nick, the thing with Sorokin is like, it's not just the everyday saves he makes, but like, my God, like there's world beating saves every game. Remember the save he made on who was it? Gustafson on the Leafs when they played that. Like, he has no business even getting close to that. But if you're a team watching that, how do you not have a defeatist mindset? Like, you're looking at a guy that's saying, man, this guy's got, like, faces the most slot shots in the league. I think he's like second actually behind Samsonov for like the best save percentage in like the red zone, quote unquote, that like they call it in that slot area. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you score on this guy? And I can tell you, and again, I can't because I was a goalie. Nick, you can't. But Kyle, maybe you can speak to this more. When you see a goalie like that, that's like just stopping everything, you cannot tell me that there's not doubt in your mind that you're not going to score on this guy. And the minute you get doubt in your mind, look at the Leafs against Carey Price a couple years ago. It was the same thing. Oh, look who's back, the old Carey Price. And guess what? It seeped through the whole team. And Marner and Matthews, they couldn't hit the side of a barn. And that's what happens. That's what a goaltender can do for you in the playoffs. And I think that's what Sorokin will do for the Islanders in this playoff.
To take that to a weird place, it actually reminds me of Colorado a lot of times when they are facing up against a really hot goalie, when they've had their struggles in the past. What that would do to them, they'd get too cute. They stop taking the good shots. We have to find the perfect play. And that play never materializes because, again, and I think Tampa does this very well, the goalie's playing their game, and now the defense know what lanes to take away because that mentality's seeping in. It's a poisonous kind of trap mindset, but yes, that's what a good goalie can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's the goaltending, and to your very astute point on your point, John Ramo. Like, I think Carolina wanted to play a team that's more rush. Let's trade chances. That way we can, that's their game plan, Whereas, Islanders dump and chase, I think that's going to kind of play counter to Carolina's plan here.
Worst
and I don't think they wanted this. I think they wanted Florida, and unfortunately they got the Islanders, and it's going to be another year where that team's out in the first round. It's a tough pill to swallow. That team's got the yips, like you said. So I got Islanders 7.
Yeah.
Kyle, not sure what your number was there for the Islanders.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it was 7. Yeah.
Okay, we got Islanders in 7. So that's 3 final series. This is the biggest one. Listeners are just fucking bandwagoner listeners like fucking Richard Magoni, Kyle. He's going to tune in just for this segment right here, okay?
Yeah. Send him the timestamp.
Send him the timestamp. Send your timestamp to all your families and friends. Here you go.
And by the way, Joe has been messaging me this entire show, chirping about Montreal. Like,
oh my god!
As if I care about Montreal. Right?
Dude, it's all about the Rangers right now.
Hang on. He says, must be so sad to be a Habs fan. They'll be bad for 20 years. LOL.
That's good. That's good.
All I said was get on the show. I'm like... I said, get on the show so you can defend your team.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's too drunk to get on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if the Leafs win, he'll be the first to come on, fucking showboating about them.
Like John Ramo, like this guy, he will come out of the woodwork I've never seen before.
Oh,
he's been in hiding. He's been in hiding for a year,
dude.
Since they lost last year, he hasn't touched the show, and he'll be back.
Man. It's the pain that we all face as Leaf fans. Listen, I feel him, man. Right, like there's days where I don't want to even open up Twitter because it's like every other tweet is just like first round 67. This is why we're like that, man. This is why it's easy for us to get like that, because we're arguably alongside the Habs the biggest team in the NHL, and yet we're starving for that success. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard being a fan like that, because you want to be positive but you can't, and then you get that light, you want to showboat, you want to go off, because all we hear is 67 in first round, right? We can't deal with that. So the minute we give it back, it's like, it looks like we're sucks, but we're not, it's hard to deal with. So I feel them, but I try to keep objective. I try to keep a level head with this. I've watched the Leafs too much to even be nervous for the playoffs. Now I'm just like, let me turn on the game. I'm expecting the worst. If they win, yay. If not, same shit, different year.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's a huge series, as it always is. 7 years in a row, Leafs first round. Here we go again. We've been waiting a whole calendar year for this.
Yep.
I like these games. These regular season games haven't mattered.
Nope.
Finally, the rubber hits the road here. Leafs got home ice. Matthew Knies, most recent acquisition for the Leafs. He's kind of had a nice little test run here.
He has, yeah.
Goaltending kind of, what's the word on Murray? I haven't really been tuned in on that.
Forget about it.
Sounds like it's Samsonov's ball here to run
100%.
with. And yeah, so I mean, I'll start by saying that, and I'll just come out right with this, no hesitation.
Hot, you're coming hot.
I think no hesitation.
Careful.
I think they're finally gonna get it done, boys. I think they're finally gonna get it done. I can see it. I think from the goaltending out, this is a better team than the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think Kyle Dubas has done an exceptional job building this team this year. He should have gotten that extension a month ago. He hasn't yet. I think he will once they progress past the first round here. I think like we said last time, the O'Reilly acquisition was a game changer. They're still kind of toying around. I mean, do you guys know where he's going to start? I know he had a great game against Buffalo or some team recently on the second line. He was with Marner and Tavares, and he really fit in. But then they had him on the third line the following game.
I think it was Tampa Bay.
But exactly. It was the game against Tampa. He had 3 assists, 2 on the power play. It was a great game. And I just think, adding Achari, adding all those grinders, you got all these different looks on defense. Keefe can kind of flip and flop, in between games, make adjustments depending on what he sees fit. Puck movers, stoppers. Do I want Schenn? Do I want Gustafsson? Samsonov has been on a heater. I see no reason to think he'll just drop the ball. Goalies get hot, they get cold. Right now he's hot, so I think he's at a good spot. If he drops the ball, like we talked about last time, John Ramo,
Yeah.
Joseph Woll has done nothing but cement our confidence. You saw that win against Tampa.
Man, he
incredible. Had like 45 saves.
It is nice to see.
He's a fucking star.
Yeah, it's nice
Star
to
in the
see
making here.
Like it's nice to see him after all these years, and he's only 25. He's still young. It's taken him time, but man, I really like his game. It needs some polish. It's a little all over the place sometimes, but my God, man, when he needs to make a big save, he can make one. And he looks like he's capable of playing, and I really like Joseph Woll. And I think the Leafs will be unafraid of giving this guy the full-time backup position next season and maybe start to look at giving him some more starts, because if he can keep up the numbers he has, I mean, he's like 8-2-1. He's like 8-2-1 in 11 games this year with like a 9-20-something. Like that's no
excellent.
longer a small enough sample size where you're like 5-6. That's like a decent amount of games for a guy that shouldn't have played one. And he's done really well. So I want to see him get the shot. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think on paper they look great. They're playing the right way right now. And Tampa, complete opposite, you know? I know they've kind of picked up some steam, but all year it's been, when is this team going to pick it up? When's this team going to get it done? John Cooper calling out his team in the media. Like, I just don't like that attitude. I don't like that body language. It's like a veteran coach trying to wake up his team last minute. I just don't like the optics of the situation from Tampa's perspective. I don't get that same confidence I usually have in them every year. I think certain acquisitions haven't really panned out. The Nashville guy, Jeannot, he got hurt. I don't think he's ready for the start of the series. That's a rough injury. So Tampa doesn't have their Nick Paul. Tampa doesn't have. I mean, I know they have Nick Paul, but they don't have their big acquisition. They don't have their big acquisition this year, and that's a problem. And it's not a good look for Brisebois, because he usually gets these right, and this one maybe was a miss. Maybe it was a miss, and so I don't think they have that magic. I think the team has gotten older. They got some injuries. Guys are playing fucking unhealthy. And I just think, and lastly, I just think the Leafs want it more. I know that sounds tough to say to guys like Steven Stamkos. You don't want it because that's a very passionate guy. Corey Perry's a very passionate guy. But I think the Leafs want it more. You know, I think they've been waiting all year for this. They're like bloodthirsty for this. I think we're going to see a great game one, just like we did last year where the Leafs came out fucking flying. I think Tuesday night's going to be no different. And I just like the Leafs here. I think they finally get it done. I think everything has come together. The acquisitions, Tampa struggling, Tampa being tired, the injury situation, all these elements have just coalesced here at the perfect timing. And I have the Leafs winning at home. Actually, I got the Leafs winning in 6. I think they get it done in 6. I think last year they should have got it done in 6 in that overtime. I think they actually get it done this year. Leafs win in Tampa on a Saturday night at the end of April and win it in 6 games.
Interesting.
So, Nick, before we move on from your prediction, what do you want to happen?
I want the Leafs to win.
Okay.
I'm a Leaf, Kyle, man. I am a Leaf fan. I cannot.
No,
I was talking to my mates here. We were talking about these games.
So and ridiculous.
I am a Leaf fan. I don't like three players on that team, namely the core, and I don't like them personally. But I want the Leafs to win the series because I'm a Leaf fan. I have been my entire life, and they got to win a cup before I die. It's that simple, man.
Okay. All right.
I'm cheering for the Leafs in this series, man. I'm cheering for the Leafs,
man. Well,
I'm not crazy.
Last year you didn't cheer for them, so
I've warmed up to them, Kyle. They got my favorite player in O'Reilly. They literally traded for my favorite player in the arguably my favorite player in the league. Like, how can I not like this team now? The team's more likable, Kyle. Achari's a character guy. O'Reilly is a character guy. They're making the right acquisitions. They have molded the guys around that core and made them so much more likable. And this isn't Joe Thornton who can barely play. This isn't like adding Wayne Simmons who's a penalty liability. You know, these are guys who can fucking compete and who've won Conn Smythes. You know, like these are legit guys they've added who I think just bolster their team. So no hesitation, Kyle. This team's way more likable now.
Okay.
Who you got, boys?
John Raymer, you can go.
All right. Okay. So okay. Listen. I mean, if you think Nick's take was hot, mine's even hotter. I'm going with. I'm starting off with Leafs in 5. And the reason I'm going Leafs in 5 is because
Nice. Confidence.
I've just like I've how many years have we been down this road where it's just constant negativity? Like at this point, the Leafs have experience. They've traded for players who have been there. They've traded for players who play the physical way, the way that apparently the Leafs couldn't play in the past. They've got a goaltender who's had above average save percentage for the first time. They've had actual goaltending this year. Like, it's time where if you put this entire Leaf roster in a Boston Bruins uniform and we were having this conversation, there'd be no negativity whatsoever. But it's because of the uniform that everyone wants to be skeptical and everyone wants to be. And it's understandable. I want to be that way too because I've had my heart crushed for so many years that I don't want to be positive. But at what point can we just finally turn around and say, fuck it, who gives a shit about what's happened in the past? Can we move on, right? Can we just go out and do it? And I think for once, this team is actually built to go on and do it. But the uniforms is what's giving everybody, odds makers, everybody you talk to, it's the uniform is why they're not giving them credit, right? But for me, I'm just looking past the uniform this year and saying, you put them in a Rangers uniform of Carolina, this team would be built to win. They have a goaltender who's had a good year, right? No different than Boston, right? Two guys with no experience, the Leafs, two guys with no experience, right? A back end that was, fourth in goals against for the entire season, given Riley missed half the year. Half their blue lines missed half the year, right? Yet they're still top 5 in terms of defensive efficiency on the year. So it's like the numbers back them up. So you know what? For once as a fan, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to back them up this year. Why can't they win in 5? They're missing Tanner Jeannot. Okay, they got a lot of guys, like you said, Nick, that aren't playing up to full health. Okay, you have a team that arguably isn't as good. But I can already see it. If the Leafs win in 5 or in 7, the first comments on Twitter is going to be, took them 3 tries against an old Tampa Bay team with half their guys not playing at full health. So they're still not going to get credit. So you know what? Fuck it. I might as well go all in on them this year and say, yeah, they're going to do it. Right? Because I think if they get past a team like this, could you imagine the confidence in the room? Whatever weight is on the back of Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander's shoulders is gone. Now you're playing with the freedom you haven't seen in the playoffs in 6 years? It'll feel like when they played Washington that first year, where we're like, wow, a 2-1 series lead against the eventual Cup winners. They played with no fear. But every year after that, that fear's built. I think if they get past that first round, you're telling me they're not going to want revenge on Boston? If there's going to be a team more eager to win, man, it's going to be Leafs. But you cannot tell me they're not going to be eager to win. Right? And when you listen to Nylander's interview about, you excited to hit 40, when his interview's like, we got to fucking win, in those exact words, that tells me a guy that's like, we just don't give a shit anymore about any, like, our personal numbers. Look at Matthews this year. He could have scored 60, 70 if he wanted to. But the guy's first in all forwards in like, blocked shots? Like, come on. Like, we're talking about a guy that's revamped his game to say, yeah, I want to win this year. I'll score 40 with a bum wrist, but I'll play a great defensive game. Mitch Marner, first in takeaways. Like, what more do these guys need to do to prove that they've developed other than win a series? You get that albatross and monkey off their shoulders, this team can go as far as they want. So, yeah, I'm going to go positive because it's so easy to be negative, right? Yeah. So why not? For all these years, they've been, like realistically, it's like flipping a coin 7 times. The Leafs have landed on tails 6, 7 times. You're not telling me that they can't do it just once? Like, it's about time. So, Kyle, I'm sure your friend will love that take, but Leafs in 5.
I know, man.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it, fellas. Holy shit!
I'm sticking with it. I mean, why not at this point? Why not? Great.
I'm having a hard time sticking to my take because I'm feeling the energy from you guys. Oh, jeez, man. Come on. Yeah. What am I gonna say here?
No.
Well, I think we know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
No, well, you guys are it's all highly logical. There's passion there. Don't get me wrong, but it's all highly logical. They're going in as the top team. Like, Tampa's the underdog here. Like, from a this season perspective, they're the underdog, especially lately. They're coming in with a bit of a speed wobble. I want to talk a little bit about playoff fatigue. This team's been to the finals 3 years in a row now. That has got to manifest itself in some sort of fashion. And a lot of people say, you know what, this team doesn't look very good coming in, and I think that playoff fatigue is showing itself as this regular season debacle that we've seen. Not debacle, but kind of ugliness that we've seen from Tampa. I think that when I looked at Tampa's cup runs, and again, the last 10 years of cup winners, I look at this team and I say, of all the teams, they have the number 100% best playoff mentality, a winner's mentality. Yeah. the idea that every player can do absolutely anything asked of them and go the distance to win hockey games, from the goalie to the defense to the forwards. That's their number one attribute. It's not their firepower, it's not their defense, it's the mentality that they have. I think come playoff time when the chips are down, I think this whole regular season garbage is out the window.
Yeah.
That's what I'm betting on when I make my prediction. I'm betting on Tampa gets back into that mentality.
Yeah.
For me, like I think all those points are correct. I do like Vasilevsky hasn't had supreme numbers this year by any means, but I do like him being the horse that he always is, and I think that can be a game changer. And then what surprised me as well, I always shit on Morgan Rielly, and I say he's not a number one defenseman.
Yeah.
And legitimately, he's not.
He's not.
Like, he doesn't play the minutes. He doesn't actually have those minutes anymore. It's actually TJ Brody and Justin Hall as the number one pairing based on the ice time that they have recently. Morgan Rielly played 17 minutes against Tampa the other night in their win against Tampa. So he's a power play. He's more of a power play guy now, I guess. But at the end of the day, like I trust the mentality, you know. That being said, like I do want to get together with you guys, and hopefully we can make some viewings happen. Not going to be an asshole about it.
No.
Be an asshole because you can probably sense this. I come into this prediction quite sheepishly.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a lot to stand on here with this Tampa prediction, but I have to stand by it.
Yeah.
Like that's just it has to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I could see both teams winning. I can see a lot of different narratives coming out of this series, and I think all of them will be like all eyes on this series. Honestly, like I know someone in New York said, "Fucking Rangers, New Jersey doesn't hold a candle to this because A, you exercise the demons if you're Toronto. B, you set up the Boston matchup to exercise even more demons.
Cow.
C, you're talking about dismantling a Tampa team that is the perennial champions. There's so much going on here. You got the Matthew Knies story. He's looked great, by the way. I've loved the way he's competed, he's battled. He could be a great bottom six guy there in this very postseason. Who knows what Ryan O'Reilly will do? He's a Conn Smythe winner of the past. It's all so dramatic. Who knows what this goalie will do, man? I don't know what this fucking goalie is going to do.
I still don't. Come on,
man.
Like, a part of me still doesn't trust Russian goalies. As much as we love Sorokin and Shesterkin, a part of me's watched too many World Juniors where I'm like, Russian goalies, I don't know.
No.
You know?
Listen. I don't know who Samsonov is, really. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, right?
That's right.
It's going to be so many good things to watch here.
He could become the next best at Vesatoskala. Like, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even
I'm not a fan of
either
of these teams.
Oh, the pain.
I'm not a fan of either of these teams, but I'll be watching with interest. I'm going to go Tampa in 7. A mix of the mentality and the demons and the goaltending and the lack of a true number one defenseman. That's what's going to do it for me.
Absolutely.
So you're telling me? So would that be 6 years in a row? Leafs have lost in a Game 7.
I guess so.
I believe so.
Tampa 2, Boston 2, Montreal 1, Columbus 1.
Well, yeah,
except the Columbus one was a Game 5.
Yeah,
because it was.
That
sudden death.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a rough way to go out.
Like I said, man,
that would be terrible.
I can guarantee you. Like, do you know how hard it is to lose 6 Game 7s in a row? Like,
man.
Like
it's like torture, man.
Like it's like a video game, man. Like you can't, right? Like, you want to talk about like a curse? That's a fucking curse, man. Like, there's no way a team can fail in that many Game 7s in a row. Like that just doesn't happen. Like, it's like a 1 in a million chance that this happens to the Leafs. But you know what? Because it's the Leafs, it's entertaining, right? Like it's just, I don't understand what more they can do. Like, you can't tell me. The only way, and Kyle, you're right, the only way I'd build this roster differently is if they had a Charlie McAvoy, if they had like a Dougie Hamilton, or if they had a guy that just eats minutes. I'd be 100, I'd say Leafs in 4. But they just don't have a number one guy. But collectively, they've defended well. But how will that pan out when John Cooper's going to ride Kucherov and Stamkos 23, 24 minutes a night. Will they be able to keep up? And I don't know, but for too many years I've been saying no, so why not say yes this year? Because if they did beat Tampa in 5, the only reason anyone would be surprised would be because it's the Leafs and they haven't won a first round, right? But if it was any other team, I think nobody would be surprised. But could you imagine that? And then you have to face Boston. Like, whoever wins the Cup this year, if you come from the East, you've had to go through the most challenging playoff.
The gauntlet.
It is more than a gauntlet even, because you look at like Boston in the second round, like what what was the point of playing the regular season? We might as well have just started now, because everybody's got to face these giants anyway. You know what I mean? So it is an incredible mountain to climb. But it's it's one that, because so even if we look ahead, Kyle, right? Like, let's say they lose in 7, right? Right? Me, you, Nick, we come on again and we talk. How are we starting that conversation, right? Like, what more do the Leafs need to do? What more do they need to do? Trade another one defenseman, blow it up? Like, where do you go from here? It's like you can't make more moves than you already have without completely ruining the roster and starting over, right?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Correct. Yeah. You could move laterally, I suppose, but it's hard to say you can get better,
right?
You know. But my thing was, I know we talk about the game 7s and the coin flip and all that, what are the chances, all that kind of thing. To me, it's like and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of those series, they let that go to game 7.
Oh yeah.
Why don't they shut it out in 6?
100%.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. No.
Like Montreal, that was huge. Like Tampa, they had a lead on. Boston, they let back in the series, I think, back in the day there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You shouldn't be going to game 7s, a lot of these series, you know? And then it's just like, oh, shit, we're here. We're shitting our pants.
Yeah,
that's
right.
It's gone south again.
That's right.
You know?
Listen, if we are here for another post-mortem after a game 7 loss, I mean it sincerely. Like, they will have to change that core, and there'll be no way to beat around the bush this time. They dodged those questions at that press conference last year. It was fucking embarrassing.
It was.
The Dubas and Shanahan, the shit they were saying. There will be no excuses this time, because you've surrounded that core with the right pieces now.
Yep.
These are objectively the right pieces.
That's right.
Dubas has fucking shot every gun in the chamber, every bullet in the chamber. This is it here. And put up or shut up. And if these guys can't get it done, someone's got to walk.
Yeah,
someone's got to walk. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about your regular season, how many takeaways you have, your number one in takeaways, or how you're Matthews and these defensive analytics of how good he is defensively in a two-way. He's no longer just a scorer. I don't give a fuck. Win a playoff series.
Win a game.
This is it. This is put up or shut up. I don't give a shit. As much as I'm high on them, I will equally turn on them if they don't get it done here.
Yeah.
And
well, okay.
It's just crazy.
And I think a lot of Leaf fans feel that way. I think that's right. I don't think that's a controversial take.
No, it's not. And I'll back you up on that, Nick. 100% that's not a controversial take. I look at the Raptors when they traded DeMar. They won. They blew up the core. They won. I look at the Blue Jays this year, trading Teoscar Hernandez, trading Lourdes Gurriel, get rid of the mainstays, bring in fresh and say, we got to do something to win. The Leafs have gone laterally. They've done the changes. If it doesn't work this year, where do you go, right? You have to make changes, because anything else you do would be the same as we've done for 6 years. Another new goaltender? No, no, man. Like, I'm not starting the season with the same story again. Like, it's just not happening for me, man. Blow it up. Fuck. I'm tired of this shit.
That's what's so frustrating. And, well, my question, okay, so now we got to talk about the bar of success. Like,
oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we all understand losing the first round is an absolute failure. What if you go to the second round and you say you lose in 5 to Boston? Is that the same as losing in the first round for you guys? Yes.
Okay.
No, I disagree. I think you just got to get past the first round. You got to get that monkey off your back, and then it's a win.
Okay.
I will feel like compelled. I will feel happy if they can just exercise those demons personally.
For me, Nick, you got to beat the first round, and you have to be competitive to the very bitter end against Boston.
Sure, right. You can't just bury your head in the sand and go, "Well, we made it past the first round. We've done it. We can just give up now." No, I agree, but I do think they'll give it a fight, Kyle. Like, I've been preaching this for a long time. If they can just exercise those demons, like John Ramo alluded to earlier, I believe mentally a lot of weight will be off these players' shoulders. And I just think they'll lock into another gear and give Boston a run for their money, if not beat them.
See, like and the reason I say that winning one round is not enough is because this roster is too good to only win one round. Like this isn't like the Leafs of 4 or 5 years ago where like one round would have been a good step. We're talking this is the best we've seen the Leafs. This is no longer about one round. It's about winning the whole thing. You know what I mean? And it's like if you go with the one round mentality, then what happens next year? O'Reilly walks, Achari walks, and guess what? It's back with a bunch of unknowns, and now we're back to saying what? If you win the first round now because you did it last year, your team's not as good. The only reason, and Nick, it's a very valid point, and I don't necessarily disagree. I just think that with this roster, it's too good to only win a round. Yes, Boston is great, but this Leaf team has to realize that there's going to be another team like Boston again next year you're going to have to beat. So why not do it this year with the team that's already the best it's been?
Yeah.
Right? You have to go further for me. Even 3 rounds for me would be almost not even enough. Like, I need to see them in the Stanley Cup final and say, yes, a team of this caliber should be here against Edmonton would be amazing.
So that's you, and I don't disagree with you, but what about the perspective of management and ownership? Like, do they say, we're going to blow it up if we don't beat Boston, you know?
If they see, and again, and that's a difficult, sort of question to answer, Kyle, because it's like, if you're management, you're like, okay, well, we've won a round, but it was Boston, right? The best team the NHL's maybe ever seen.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Which again, only in that Leafs logic of being cursed, only would the Leafs have to face the best team in NHL history the first year they make it out of the first round, right? Like it's like this is written in the stars, man. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to think past it. But going back to that, it's like if you're the Leafs, it's like what do you do? Like if you're management, right? Because now you have to try to get a team that's even better than was this season, but with tight cap space, and there's going to be some money coming off, but tight cap space. Not the best prospect pool, not a lot of chips on the table in terms of draft picks. What do? You know what I mean? Like, do you have to find a diamond in the rough in the 3rd or 4th round that all of a sudden comes up through the system, right? Like, is Nick Robertson that guy next season if he can finally get healthy? Right? Like, it's just like, it's not even like the Leafs could really make moves because if you blow it up, it's like, well, what are you going to get, right? Like, if I'm trading Matthews, hypothetically, what am I getting in return?
Well,
it's just hard to see because we've seen so many trades in the past where when you trade these studs, you almost never get that value back in return, right? Like, you look at the trade even between Florida and Calgary. Both teams were garbage this season. Both teams, right, almost didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like sometimes these big blow-up moves to revamp it like Calgary did don't work. And now if you're a fan in Calgary, and I feel bad because a Calgary fan, what do you argue? We weren't good enough last year, blow it up. All right, fuck you guys. We blow it up, now we don't make the playoffs. What else do you want us to do at this point? Do we stick the course now? Do we have a choice? So for the Leafs, they could blow it up and then barely make the playoffs next season, and everyone would be like, can we go back to last season and just try to improve again?
Yeah.
So it's oftentimes it's like you're taking a gamble. That's why I don't want any more gambles. Win this year. I don't give a fuck if they lose for 50 years in a row. I saw a Stanley Cup. I don't care anymore. So let's just win it while we're here and not think about what we need to do. Because Calgary and Florida will tell you there's no guarantees in this sport. And it's the hardest championship to win out of any pro sport. I don't care what anybody says. Man, it's a slog. It's a grind. You play 82 NBA games, I don't give a shit. You play 82 NHL games of bumping and grinding and pucks and hitting, it's a different animal, man. This is the hardest thing to win.
Yep. So,
all right, you good, Kyle, or what's the last question?
One more hypothetical. One more hypothetical. Leafs lose in the first round.
Oh, man.
Matthews is looking for a max contract. Is he not the guy? Is he not the guy to go?
He's not.
You're going to give him a max contract and then do what? He's going to walk if you don't. You're going to sign the max contract
and let him walk. I'm at a point, Kyle, where I'm like,
wow.
And again, this is not saying I have any inside knowledge, but Connor McDavid staying in Edmonton is not very likely. And I've spoken to a couple people who have been around in the game.
Unless
they win, even would be the only thing. But I've spoken to a couple people who have worked alongside him and have made it very clear that if Edmonton don't win by the time free agency, Toronto will be a very, very likely option. I would rather tank the 1 year in between their contracts, get a high pick, reset with McDavid, and go from there. Now, again, I'm not saying it happens. I'm not saying the people I know are guaranteed. But I've spoken to people who are high up in some organizations that I can't really say. But I have some people saying that would be an option. McDavid would very well consider coming to Toronto after this is done if it doesn't work in Edmonton. So, am I banking on that? No, but like I can't justify Matthews with the max. He's done nothing for me to justify that. No success whatsoever.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And honestly, I think the guy I'd be more willing to give a max to and to just never want to see him leave my team is Mitch Marner. I think that guy this year has proven. I think that guy has proven so much to me from a two-way game standpoint. He can literally play on anyone's line and make that guy look so incredible. Whereas Matthews doesn't have that same effect. You know, even with Bunting this year, like Bunting's kind of dipped. And that speaks a lot to Bunting, but also to Matthews, you know, that he can't elevate these players' games. Whereas Marner, everyone wants to play with this fucking guy. Yeah. That guy's blocking shots. That guy's setting up incredible goals. He's scoring incredible goals. That guy has shown me so much. He's shown me so much. And like even in interviews, like he's very businesslike. You know, he's kind of done with the drama. He's very businesslike. I like his approach now. I think he's matured. I think he's a little older now. I'd be more comfortable giving him the max, sending Austin out, and then bringing in, you know, if it is McDavid, what a combo that would be. McDavid and Marner. Oh my God.
It would be ridiculous.
I think he's more indisplaceable. And honestly, if you want to blow it up, I just don't think there's room for those two guys, because then how much can you really change if you're giving the max to both those guys?
You can't.
Right. And you know what? Even to take it back to last playoffs, I do remember that Game 7, and I do remember really liking what Marner was bringing to that Game 7. I remember thinking, man, Marner's bringing it. I can see it. Maybe the results aren't always there. I can see him doing all that he can, bringing all the bag of tricks that he's got. I didn't see that out of Matthews. No. Matthews with the shot, he was deferring. He wouldn't shoot the puck. I was like, what are you guys doing?
I know, man. I know, Kyle. It's like so painful to watch sometimes, man. It's so painful. And I get that he's dealt with some wrist injuries the last couple of years, which is why he says he's kind of was moving away from the shots recently. But apparently now he's back to being healthy. So if I don't see him ripping that puck all playoffs long, it's going to upset me. But it's also not a coincidence that he has a career year while playing beside Marner last season. Right? Like, Marner elevates his game to another level. So I know, Kyle, you mentioned earlier at the start in terms of where you would play guys like O'Reilly. My take on what the Leafs lines would be for this playoff series, and Nick, obviously, I'm really eager to hear what you think about this, because I know you're a huge Ryan O'Reilly fan, and he's really grown on me too. But my starting line would be, I would go back to the default here. I would put Bunting beside Matthews and Nylander. I want to see O'Reilly, Tavares, and Marner. I just do. I don't want that line to be broken up, because I think it's where you get the most. Where I would switch that is, let's say we're going up against, face-offs in our own end late. Ryan O'Reilly's like up there with Patrice Bergeron as your 1-2 combo for best centers in terms of face-off percentage. That asset is something I would say, if we're up, let's say 2-1 in a game, third period, I now move O'Reilly down for the third and say he's taken all my D-zone draws. We're winning them, getting the puck out, and moving on. So he's your Swiss Army knife, where you're like, if I need him in a depth or defensive role, I can put him there. But I wouldn't be afraid to double shift a guy like that. And I would also not be afraid to double shift Marner and have Marner play with Matthews and play with Tavares at the same time, so that you don't break up both that chemistry and you have another guy rotate in and out. But I want to see O'Reilly, Tavares, and Marner.
It's a fascinating debate, right? Because I like that take, and we've seen those three in the chemistry and the brief glimpses we've seen. They have it.
Yeah.
But, like, here's what's so fascinating is, like, if you load up those two lines and then have two weaker lines, it makes sense, because you look at Tampa's lines, it's very similar, right? Very top-heavy.
Yeah.
It's Point, Kucherov, Stamkos, and then you got Cirelli, Killorn, Hagel. Like, you have a defined top six.
That's right.
And then, like, Paul, Maroon, Belmar, Perry, Colton, those are all bottom six guys.
100%.
So you could match up and go, let's go top heavy. Let's have our two first lines against their first two lines. Or on the flip side, you could have O'Reilly be your 3C, have O'Reilly match up against the Stamkos line, and then that way those scoring lines,
Fair.
Whether it be Tavares, Marner, and then Bunty Matthews, they'll get an easy matchup against Tampa's third line or something, right? So it's like fire with fire, or you try to kind of mismatch and beat around them. Kyle, maybe you can speak better than that. Like if you want to outchance. Like, do you have a better chance of stopping Stamkos Kucherov point by going fire, like best line, and doing O'Reilly, Tavares, Marner against them? Or do you have a better chance having like an O'Reilly defensive line? And then I'm curious what they'll do here.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, you have to commit to scoring less. Like when I think back to what Danault did against his playoff run with Montreal, like if you play Ryan O'Reilly in a shutdown line against their top line, that line is playing more minutes.
Yeah.
Meaning your top scorers are actually playing less minutes. Yes, they have a better matchup, but they're not out there as much. So all of a sudden you commit to this defensive tactic, and maybe you're not playing to your own strengths in terms of the offense that you have.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to really commit to it. For Montreal, no worries. We don't have a lot of offense. Let's throw Danault out there against their top guy all the time.
Right.
No worries, But with Toronto, I almost like the loading up the lines against the
No, I do too. I agree with John Ramo's original take. I'm playing a little devil's advocate, but I think the right move and what Keith should do, what he should do is he should have the Tavares, Marner, O'Reilly line against Stamkos Kucherov point. That's what I want to see because I think offensively they can keep up with those guys. I think defensively you have two Selke guys and O'Reilly and Marner who can definitely stop Kucherov and Stamkos. That's the matchup I want to see. Those two lines, and I'll throw Matthews' line against fucking Cirelli's line, and let's see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
If he wants to get dynamic, he can do a hybrid style. If there's a top line in the defensive zone, then maybe you throw O'Reilly on that
for sure.
line.
Yeah.
Offensive zone, throw whoever you want.
And he might. I don't know. I still don't know what they're doing. Are they going 11-7? Are they going 12-6? Like, what the hell is going on, John Ramo? Is the 11-7 experiment dead? Like, what the hell is going on?
This is going to, and my reason here is going to be similar to my take earlier. Fuck it. Go with your regular lines, match up best on best. I think the Leafs have always focused too much on maybe O'Reilly against this guy. If you want to win, just go out there and play Toronto Maple Leaf hockey. Don't change your game to play against Tampa. So many years, again, where it's been like, Kashi, we got to do everything. Tactical matchup, this chess game. Fuck it. Yeah. Let's just play Leaf hockey. Let's go out and just try to score 5 goals a game and see if that works. Because every other defensive way we've tried to play has never helped us. We've lost every single year in this first round. Let's switch it up. Let's get O'Reilly on that top 6. Let's put all the big guns out there at once, and let's fire away. If we get blown out game 1 or something, then maybe you can look at changing it. But let's stick with Leaf hockey. Let's not change what's worked for us this season. Let's play our way. Let's stick with that. If it doesn't work, then you look to make changes. I don't want to start, messing with things that don't necessarily need to be messed with at this point in time. Let's just see what happens, right? I'm for years it's been the same thing. Nothing's worked. So let's try doing the opposite of what we would normally do. Maybe that'll work.
Yep.
Yeah. Very logical. Okay. Love talking about this team. We could do it all day, literally, boys.
Absolutely.
But we have to move on. Western Conference. John Ramo, you mentioned McDavid just previously. We're starting with Kings and Oilers.
Yeah.
It's the marquee matchup on Monday night. First big playoff game I'll be tuning into. What do you make of this, Kyle? McDavid, it's his next shot at the dance here. He had a great run last year in the conference final against Colorado. They got swept. They're playing the same Kings team that they beat in 7 games last year, led by Quinton Byfield, the face of the LA Kings. Quinton Byfield, let's hope he actually plays in the whole series and doesn't get healthy scratched for half the series like last time. What the hell is going to happen here? I mean, is it the Kings who are going to be bloodthirsty and are going to seek revenge and get it done? Is it McDavid who's just going to go full OP in what's been his best season to date and just continue it in the playoffs? Yeah. I mean, so many ways to take this. It'll be a fun series just because McDavid's in it. I think the Kings are a pretty boring team, not going to lie, but I think McDavid makes it a very watchable series, and it has the potential to be a long one. So what do you think here?
Yeah, to be honest, like last year it went to 7. I don't think it'll go that long this year. I think Oilers are primed to take down the Kings pretty handedly this year. I think offensively, you could say they're pretty similar to last year, maybe a slight bit better. Defensively, they're a lot better. My God, adding Ekholm at the deadline, they've had an incredible record since he's joined their team. He's got a decent pass first. He's a really stabilizing guy. Great defensively. He can be a bit nasty at times too. So defense, way better. That whole outlook is changed there. Goalie, I mean, last year it's not hard to do better than last year with that fucking dope they had in net. That old dopey
Koskinen.
Idiot they had a bunch of just baloney last year. So Stuart Skinner, he's had a pretty good year. He's actually from Edmonton. I didn't know that. I got a lot more faith in the guy compared to what we had last year. So I think this goes down pretty handedly. Like LA's got a pretty decent look as well, but their core is a little bit older. Kopitar's got to be slowing down a little bit, right? So I see this going down in you know what? I'll go conservative. I'll say 6 games. Edmonton Oilers in 6 games. Because they'll squeak out some wins. Deneau will get his defensive jobs done here and there. Edmonton will speed walk a little bit, find their groove, and by the end of it, they'll be in a good rhythm.
Interesting.
John Ramo.
This is my one interesting one here in the West. I'm actually going to go with the LA Kings in 7 here.
Wow.
And again, not because I'm a Kings fan.
Sizzling.
Okay, not because I'm a Kings fan on the side, but mainly because I just think the LA Kings and Edmonton Oilers is like, I just don't think it's a great matchup per se for the Oilers. I think I've watched a lot of their games this season, like the Kings and Oilers when they faced each other in particular, and again, McDavid and Draisaitl on their own are just incredible players, like unbelievable. But there's something about this LA Kings team that's like nobody expects them to be this good, but they just play a good brand of hockey. They don't have the best players. They don't have any like big sexy names on the team where you're like, yeah, like that's a star, that's a star. But they're just collectively they play an excellent game, and it's a game that kind of stymies Edmonton in a way because Edmonton are a team that are so heavily reliant on 2 players, and in the regular season it works, right? But when you look at Edmonton's success, it's solely based on those 2. If the LA Kings can find a way to contain, and I'm not saying that means prevent them from scoring, but contain McDavid and contain Draisaitl, I think they can very easily win a series. And Stuart Skinner's had a good year, right? You're right, 100%. But since the All-Star game, he's honestly been bad. Like, he really hasn't been good. And there's still a question mark in that because guess what? If it's not Stuart Skinner, it's Jack Campbell. And
you can't turn to him.
And you can't turn to him at all. So the question is you're relying on a rookie goalie in Stuart Skinner to take you this far. And yes, they've been better defensively with Ekholm. But when you look at their goals against in the league this year, they're not even, I believe, top 10. Like, they're like a middling defensive team coming up against an LA Kings team that has surprisingly scored a lot of goals. But it's quiet guys, the Kevin Fialas. Drew Doughty's still doing it. Sean Dursey that the Leafs gave to this team. Like, their back end is solid. And now that they have a goalie, who, by the way, destroyed the Leafs when the Leafs played Columbus, I never want to see this guy again. My God, this guy was unbelievable in that series. This is a goalie that, again, quietly can steal a series and is a little bit better than Stuart Skinner at this time. And the LA Kings want revenge. And I think it's hard to look past that, but you don't think they're thinking about last year's matchup? This is going to be this is the one team Edmonton didn't want to see because you don't want to beat a team like that twice and have to go through that again. It's hard to do it again. I just see something in LA where I think they want it. And I'm not saying Edmonton don't, and maybe I'm biased again because I'm a Kings fan, but I really like the quiet nature of this team and how they go about their business. Great power play, good penalty kill, all around a solid team. You don't win 40-plus games in a season unless you're a good side. I have to give the edge. It's the wobble on Edmonton's defense, and goaltending scares me.
John Ramo, agree with your take. It's a great take. I mean, the LA Kings have a great team game.
Yeah.
We've seen that. They've had the worst goaltending all year. Like before the trade deadline, statistically speaking, they were 30th, 31st. They had the Peterson shenanigans, Jonathan Quick shenanigans. Earlier in the
Phoenix
year,
Copley?
it was a mess. Well, he's still the backup there. We
Boy.
might see him in this series. There's a chance we see him in this series.
I know.
That's the thing. LA's kind of been going back and forth as much as you want to commit to Korpisalo. But
Yeah.
I digress. I mean, the team plays a great team game. You look at all the analytics, all the numbers,
It's excellent.
offensively,
Yeah, it's
defensively,
excellent.
top 10 despite those goalie splits. So you're right. Todd McClelland can coach this team. They have a great team game. I get it. And I'm very, as a Kings fan, I'm very, very, very. I have that same inkling to take them in the series. But here's why the Oilers will win.
Ooh.
3 points. 3 points. 3
Yep.
points. Okay? I think Ekholm has changed their defense entirely. Like that whole look, I just have so much more faith in them. I didn't earlier, Darnell Nurse being your one, or, Bouchard playing heavy minutes, defensive minutes.
Yep.
But with Ekholm, totally gives them a new look. I think they've looked totally different. Okay?
18-2-1 since he got there. 18-2.
It's incredible. It's incredible. What more do you have to say? Going into the playoffs, you always pick the team that is trending in the right direction. That's on a heater. 18-2-1. How can you not pick that team? Second point, Kevin Fiala, arguably their most creative, dynamic forward for the Kings, had a great year. He's injured right now.
Yeah.
We don't know his status. We don't know what the hell's going on. He could be in Siberia. He could be getting the Freddie Anderson treatment. I don't know what's going on with Fiala. That's a critical piece.
Yeah.
He's out. Okay? Third point, Stuart Skinner. Okay? I hate to be the fact checker, but this guy in the last month, 9 wins, 208 GAA, 925 save percentage.
Yeah.
Like the guy's been playing good hockey.
What are his overall numbers?
I'm pretty
this year?
comfortable. It's much worse than that. His overall numbers are 275 and a 913. Not bad.
Not bad. League average
913 is about, it's league average, a little over league average.
Yeah.
But in the last month, it's 208, 925. Against Colorado recently, they won the game earlier this week, 2-1. He stopped 29 shots. Like, that's an impressive win.
Okay, so you know what? I got a question for you guys on this then. Do you think Edmonton's too power play reliant?
And well, that was going to be the final point. I think they are they're operating at a 50% clip, which I agree is not sustainable. It's fucked. It's absolutely fucked. But that said, I mean, in the playoffs, that has a way of mitigating itself,
That's
right?
what I
Because
mean.
there's less calls.
Exactly.
It plays less of a role. So you're absolutely right, John Remo. That's a fantastic point. But that said, you're still going to get your power plays. And I feel like they have that coach. He just gets it. He's like, I'm going to go my number one unit for the full 2 minutes. And I would do the same. I would do the same if I had that kind of
Well, yeah,
talent.
I mean, fucking,
And-
if I had those guys 100%.
No, you don't need a second unit.
No.
You don't need a second
No,
unit.
doesn't
Just
exist.
let them have all the ice time they want. So it'll play less of a role in this series. It absolutely will. I don't disagree with that take.
Yeah.
But, you still can't deny it. When they're on the ice, it's the best power play in the league.
Yeah.
And that's a critical point of the game. So for all those reasons, Skinner, Fiala, the power play, I like the Oilers, and I think they get a run because the LA Kings are a well coached, disciplined team, and Fiala will return. He will return in the series. I just don't know when. So I'm going Oilers in 7. I think plays out the exact same way as last year. Oilers in 7.
So one more thing there is I think I heard something that John Ramos said that keyed me in, and I just looked it up too. They've got middling defensive numbers. 100% true. It's all they need. All they need is a middling defense.
Yeah.
Their goals per game is 0.3 better than the Boston Bruins,
That's
the second
insane.
place team.
That's insane.
It's a ridiculous number.
Wow.
Their power play is actually 32.4 on the season, so it's not 50. It's not 50%. It's not out of this planet. It's really, really, really amazing.
32.
32%. So yes, their power play is amazing, but like take away all the power play points from McDavid and Draisaitl, they're still probably 100-point players.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think, you know what, John Ramo, I think what you're saying is, I get what you're saying. The stylistically, LA's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
I agree. I just don't think LA has enough of that.
That's fair.
To get it done.
Yeah.
Like I think Edmonton can get stopped by a team like that, but a stronger team like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think this is going to look like.
And I think that's why we're saying
Like, I
7
think-
games for all of us, right? Like we're all 7 games,
Yeah.
but maybe with the teams
Yeah.
differing at the end. So we know that stylistic problem, but you guys just see, you guys just think that Edmonton's. And again, I don't disagree with that because I could very easily, Edmonton for sure. But there's just something about that LA team that just makes me think like if they can just narrow it down and focus on shutting down the big guns, they have that shot. But over a 7-game series, can you do it once or twice? Yeah, maybe. But over a 7-game series, it might be hard. My LA bias comes out a little bit, man. I really think they're gonna pull it, but I don't know.
That's fair. That's
We'll
fair,
see.
man. Yeah,
It's very
stick to
fair,
it,
man,
yeah.
and it speaks to how Vegas, they went on a heater at the end of the year because they wanted to avoid the LA Kings.
Yeah,
They wanted to
exactly.
avoid them like the fucking plague.
I know.
And they sure as hell played like it at the end of the year. Everyone's scared of the Kings in a playoff matchup because they got that playoff style of game that can win a series. And Vegas was cognizant of that, and that's why they avoided them. And now Edmonton's got to deal with them, and I'm sure McDavid's not happy about it.
But that's always
I still
been
think they
LA's
get it
thing,
done.
eh?
Yeah.
Hey guys, like it's always been
yeah.
LA's thing. Every time they get to the playoffs, like nobody wants to see them. It's like
No,
like they
no.
just have that it factor in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No matter what team it
Yeah.
is, man. It's something about them.
Yeah, buddy.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Moving on, the other Canadian team in the West, the final one we'll cover today, the
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets just squeak into the playoffs, kind of limp their way into the playoffs. They had it, then they didn't have it, then they had it. I mean, it was kind of a mess there getting in. And they play on, they're going to play the Vegas Golden Knights, who have been on a heater here to end the season. Bruce Cassidy's Vegas Golden Knights, who are now led by Laurent Brossoit. He's their starting goalie. It's kind of a fucking joke. It's been a goalie carousel there all year. You've had Brossoit, Logan Thompson, Aiden Hill, and Jonathan Quick. It's been a fucking mess.
Just bad luck,
And
man. With
looks,
injuries.
yeah, man, bad luck. But it sounds like Brossoit's the guy. He's been winning them games to end the year here. Bruce Cassidy seems to just be riding the hot hand.
Yep.
Vegas, Winnipeg. I'm going to be very brief with this one.
Yep.
I think Vegas has been playing better to end the year. I don't trust Winnipeg.
Nope.
I don't trust the core. I just think it's time to blow things up, and this will be the final nail in the coffin for Winnipeg.
Yeah.
I think Sheffield-Dayoff, the message will be reinforced in his head that Scheifele probably wants to go. Dubois, we already know, wants to go. Wheeler's gotten old. Maybe his time is up there. Hellebuck, will he want to stay? I know he's been terrific. But can he win a series? And then Vegas, I've been beating this drum for so long, boys. I just love that defense. I think it's such a fucking playoff like looking defense. I mean, Alec Martinez, that guy blocks the most shots in the league. Playoff performer. Petrangelo, a Stanley Cup winner. Shea Theodore, the stud that he is. And then bruisers, McNabb, Haig. I mean, White Cloud. I think the defense is great. I think Bruce Cassidy knows how to coach in the playoffs. I don't trust Winnipeg's core, and I trust too many guys on that veteran savvy Vegas team. So regardless of the goaltending, which is obviously advantage Winnipeg, I just think of goalie out, I think Vegas is the huge favorite here. And I think they're going to win this handedly, and maybe not handedly, but I think Winnipeg might have a game or two in them. They might give them a run. Hellebuck will steal a game maybe, and I'll go Winnipeg. I'll go Vegas in 6.
I was gonna say, whoa. Whoa, going for a Winnipeg call after all that? Holy.
Okay. So Nick says that. I say goalie in Winnipeg.
Wow.
To me, I like
Love
Winnipeg, man. Like I do.
You're done. You're
Come
fucking.
on, man.
You're done. You're such a muck.
Jack Eichel,
You're such a
man?
schmuck.
Jack Eichel? Come
I know.
on, man.
I know he's got the yips.
Mark Stone hasn't played all year. I know he's coming back, but he hasn't played all
He's our
year.
best
Jack
player.
Eichel he's a rookie in the playoffs. He's a fucking baby cake.
He is. He is. He
It's
absolutely
ridiculous.
is.
I know you have the defense, but
But I
hey,
don't
listen,
trust.
Scheifele
What
got
makes you
40 this
trust?
year.
What makes you trust the fate
Hey,
like that core?
I
don't.
I will tell you. I'll give you a quick reasoning on this, and I know where you're coming from. To me, this year in Winnipeg is almost its own mini Last Dance.
That's right.
Nobody wants
It
to
is.
be
It
there.
really is.
Everyone's leaving. I guarantee they get together in the room. Hey, they get together in the room. Boys, After this, we're done.
Yeah.
Let's
We're done with
give
Winnipeg.
the best. Let's give the loudest fans in the league something to cheer about.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the best. It's one of the best, loudest barns in the league. I guarantee. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to be. You know what? This is my last year. Mark Scheifele. Like it's just going to be that one and done, boys. Let's see what we can do with this. Like we've been here. We've been doing this for 6 years, on and off success. What do we got? Morrissey's been great this year. Hellebuck's a Vezina finalist.
Yep.
Something's there, man. Something's there, and I don't trust Jack Eichel. You want to talk about trust? You want to talk about trust with me? Jack Eichel, come on, man. Who is this guy? Get out. That's where I'm at.
This is a hard one to call.
I think. Sorry, John Raymond. I'm just going to interrupt. That's an awful take, and I think you're so wrong. You're so wrong.
No, we'll see.
You are so wrong. This team is so flawed. They don't even like each other. I have a feeling they're in the room and they can't even look at each other in the eye. And I think there's something deeply flawed in that room. And when that coach came out, when they lost against San Jose a couple of weeks ago, and he did some guys got to look in the mirror here. Like this is getting serious. Like
that's right.
When a coach drops that, you know, like this team's on their last stand. Like this is dire straits here.
Drops. You cut out for a sec. Drops what?
Man, he fucking looked. They lost a game in San Jose, and he was like, you know, guys were saying they put effort out there. We all know they didn't put effort out there. Like that, man. Like that was a fucking bombshell. And you know he was talking to the face of the big guys on that team. I just think that's the heart of that team is lost. This is like the Paul Maurice days where there was passion with that team and actual fight, I think is gone. I just don't see it, man. I don't say what you want, man. I don't see it. John Ramo, speak some sense into this, man.
No,
please.
You know what, Nick, you're not going to like this, but you know what?
Give me a break.
For all the dysfunction that exists in Winnipeg, for all the dysfunction, right? Tell me something that wouldn't be as poetic as for them to just somehow pull this series off, and the Vegas Golden Knights pull the Toronto Maple Leafs fucking specialty, where they go in supposing to win and everything's rosy and it looks great, a nice defense, the goaltending's held up despite all the issues, and then this dysfunctional team walks in and is just like, yeah, I'm sorry, like we're gonna put it together for 7 games. I'm honestly thinking Winnipeg in 7, and the reason I take Winnipeg in 7 is because as much as it's dysfunction,
yes,
Brossois scares me a lot. Like I'm talking, like I'd rather have like a Vitek Vanacek like out in New Jersey than I'd rather have Warren Brossois. Like we're talking third string. This is like putting like Curtis McElhinney in that. Like this is not what I want to see. If I'm
he's looked good. He's looked good. He looks good.
And I won't take away the numbers. But when you get to the playoffs, everything restarts. You can score 50 goals in the regular season. Everybody starts at 0. And when we're restarting at 0 in a different animal, in a different environment, he's going to get cooked by the fans in Winnipeg. If shit goes bad in Winnipeg for him, his confidence is donezo for the rest of the series. And Winnipeg can do that to you because the fans are wild. Now, the reason Winnipeg is because that top 6 is still filthy in Winnipeg. Like, it's so good. And they can still, like, man, we've seen games where they score 2 and games where they score 6. Now, against this defense, it's not going to be easy. But that defense is going to face wave after wave. And if you think Winnipeg is going to come in, you're playing defensive. If I'm Winnipeg, I'm looking at everybody in the room and saying, fuck it, we're going all-out offense, and I don't care about – because we can't play defense, right? Neil Pionk's my number 1 defenseman. Dylan DeMello, Brendan Dillon. These guys are not scrubs, but they're close to it. Go for it on the offense. They're going to look at – like, if I'm in that room, I'm looking at Hellebuck and saying, you're going to stop 50 shots a game, but we're going to try to score 4 or 5 for you. And if that defense there, they got to be thinking, I can't make one mistake because I can't trust Laurent Brossois yet to make that big save. So now you put pressure on the defense to be perfect and facing wave after wave of Nick Ehlers, Kyle Connor, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Like,
he's looked great, by the way. Ehlers taking his game to a next level recently.
And what I'm saying here is that defense core is going to have a lot to handle. And you're right, with a Mark Stone who hasn't played all year, Jack Eichel with no experience, you got to put pressure on them to score goals against Connor Hellebuck. That's not easy. And he can win you games in series on his own combined with the offense, they look like a Leaf team from 4 or 5 years ago. That's all about scoring. Fuck the defense, score goals, hope your goalie bails you out. Something about that is like, I don't know if I'd want to face that with a team that doesn't have a lot of guys that have been there, per se, and done it at a high level in the playoffs. Yes, they've gone decently far, right? The Vegas Golden Knights, and they have guys with experience, but at the back end, man, it's so shaky. They can't make one mistake.
Yeah.
One turnover could lead to a goal, and the wheels fall off the wagon. Winnipeg in 7.
There you go.
It's a closer series than I think a lot of people are calling. And honestly, I think I like Winnipeg's forwards more. You know, like on paper, like I think there's more there. There's more there. Like Vegas has Jack Eichel, Barbachev, and Marchessault. Like who else you got?
Hey, Dubois could be a killer in the playoffs.
Oh my God, yeah. I could see him like really getting a mean streak. He could turn on a mean streak and get things going there. I just think I
game if they need to.
Man, I mean, you guys bring up good points, and that's why I have it going, you know, relatively long. But again, I always have more respect for coaching and the system, and I think just Cassidy's going to get it done here, and that's just me. And Brossoit,
Nick. Yeah.
He doesn't have to be great all year. Brossoit's been, Cassidy says, we need a goalie who's just going to make saves. You know, you look at all the analytics, they're kind of like Carolina. They don't give up a lot. Or sorry, they're like the Islanders. They don't give a lot high danger chances. They give a lot out from the perimeter.
Yeah.
Vegas really much plays like that, and that's why Brossoit's been so good. He's got a 217 and a 925 in the last month. Like, the guy's been solid. He doesn't have to do very much. And I think if they just play to that identity, they'll be fine against this Winnipeg team that, to me, looks broken emotionally. So, yeah, I love this. I'm excited to see how this plays out because it's true. It's true. They do look a little broken. That quote after the San Jose game really got to me. But this is fun. I'm glad we have a series we disagree so much on. The East we all agreed with, and now we're already disagreeing on these first two West series. So this is great. This is great.
Yep.
So what do you guys have it going in? You got Winnipeg winning in what? 7-6-5? What do you got?
6.
I got Winnipeg in 7.
Nice. Okay.
The last dance, baby. The last
dance. Okay. Two more series to go. We're going to Kyle's beloved. Yeah, make him quick, shotgun style. Kyle's beloved Colorado Avalanche will be playing their former goalie Philip Grubauer, if he even starts. Seattle against Seattle. If he even starts, it's true. It's true.
He's been good. He's been good down the stretch.
He has. He worked out well for you in fantasy, right? I gave you a pretty good tip there.
Yes, he did.
So yeah, we got Seattle making their first playoff appearance, and congratulations, you get the Colorado Avalanche in the first round. So here we go.
Nice.
What do they do? I'm obviously the big Seattle fan, and I'll just open and be brief. As much as I love Seattle and Shane Wright, who got ousted in the first round, got swept in the first round of the OHL playoffs. Not a good look. Not a good look for Shane. We can get into that later. But the main point is Seattle. I think they're just happy to be there. I think they're going to collect some ticket revenue. They're going to get some fans through the gates. They're going to sell a few more jerseys. It's great. It's going to be great for the city of Seattle. They're going to get 2 games on ESPN or TNT. It's going to look great, and they're going to be happy to be at the dance. And that's frankly all they need at this point. Because I don't think they can match up against Colorado. They don't have a game breaker. As much as I love Seattle, they are a boring team to watch. They are objectively boring to watch. They don't have a single guy who just leaps in front of your eyes and makes you go, wow. They don't have any wow factor, and Colorado's got all of it. They've been there. They've done that. Winnipeg just doesn't – or sorry, fuck Winnipeg. Seattle just doesn't have it, and
man, leave him alone, man.
Seattle just doesn't have it, and frankly, their goaltending. I know you said they've been better, Kyle, but I just don't have faith in Martin Jones and Grubauer against. I think Grubauer's got the yips against his former team. Mm-hmm. I think Jones is a AHL goalie. And I just don't. I see some ugly games here. I see some like a 7-1 game, just like Colorado abused the fuck out of Koskinen and the Oilers last year. I could see the same kind of series here. You know, maybe Seattle can win one of those home games. I think that would be really good for them. I really do. I think they do probably. and I'm going to go Colorado in 5. I'm going Colorado in 5 games.
Yep, fair enough. I'll jump in real quick. Although it's very crushing, Landeskog being out for the playoffs, you miss Kadri. But at the end of the day, like, the Kraken are outclassed, heavily outclassed on offense and defense. Despite that, I will maintain, in terms of 6 defense, a defensive group in this league, I wouldn't have any other defensive group than this Colorado group. I'll maintain that till the day I die. Goaltending's average, that did just fine last year. And I'll tell you what,
Georgiev's better. I think he's better, man. He's legit. He was good for me this year in fantasy.
Could be. But you got to watch it because the dog is on the loose. The dog is off the leash and he is on the loose. Nathan MacKinnon just popped off last game. He's ready. He gave you a little preview of what he's about to do to the Kraken. I think this is going to be a bloodbath despite the injuries. Like, it's going to be 4 games. The big boys are going to get going.
Wow.
We're going 4 games and then we're taking a rest is what we're doing.
Wow. Yeah.
But yes, no, I mean, Jared McCann, he won me my fantasy playoffs. He won me everything. He's a fucking great player, but he's not a game breaker.
Oh, we let him go in Toronto. I'm so mad.
Man,
we're so
cursed,
what's
funny?
Bro.
They let him go in Pittsburgh.
I know.
They let him go. Everyone they let go turns into a star. Yeah. Pittsburgh is a fucking joke. Doesn't matter. Forget it. Just
should have Carter Verhaeghe, their draft pick, gone. McCann we had gone. It's just upsetting. But yeah, listen. Yeah. I mean, this is maybe the most lopsided series of the entire playoffs. Even I think more so than Boston versus Florida. I'm going with Colorado in 4. I as much as I love what the Kraken have done in their rise, they don't have a game breaker. They definitely don't have goaltending that's able to compete. They scored a lot of goals this year despite not having a star though. They've scored goals. Yeah. They might give here's the thing, they can only play a run and gun style, right? Seattle. Unfortunately, the one team they got matched up against is the epitome of what it means to play run and gun hockey.
Yeah.
So they're going to get absolutely throttled. Nick, you're spot on. I can see some 7-8 goal games here happening. I can see some games where it's over in the first 10 minutes. But
yeah.
I feel for the Kraken. But listen, this season is this is a learning experience. Get playoff experience. Get the fans out there. This is a win no matter what happens in the series. Move on from here and keep going forward. This is a great season for Seattle, but it's going to be Colorado. I mean, I don't even need to list it. Nathan MacKinnon is he's an X factor, and that's what teams are begging for. Me as a Leaf fan, I wish Matthews could play like MacKinnon in the playoffs. It just doesn't happen. It's going to be Colorado in 4.
Right.
Love it. Okay, final series. This one, I guarantee you, Kyle will not tune in for a second. Minnesota, Dallas.
Unreal.
Honestly, I think it's going to be an incredible series. So I have this in my top 3 as most. Oh my God, yeah. Kyle, this is going to be 2. These are 2 teams that could legit come out of the conference, and they're playing each other in this first round. I think it's going to be great. There's going to be some fireworks. It's going to be a lot of passion, a lot of feisty games. Boy, Pete DeBoer against Dean Evison. They're going to be trading some words, yelling at each other. This is going to be a great series.
They could fight. They could literally fight.
Literally. I see
Jesus
it, man.
Christ.
I see it. This is going to be a bloodbath.
What?
And, man, both
what
teams.
Am I missing here? Is Kaprizov not injured?
No, he's
Since
back.
Kaprizov's
He's back,
gone
Kyle.
down, they've been unreal.
He's back.
Yeah.
Oh,
they have been unreal.
He's
They
back.
have been. I mean, Boldy has taken it to a next level, and But here's the thing on Kaprizov, Kyle. He's been getting a lot of rest recently. He was back as of 4 games left in the season. He played against Chicago. They then rested him. Then he played another game. He actually scored. He registered 8 shots. He played 22 minutes. He had a solid game. And then he recently was rested again. So they're just kind of handling him with kid gloves. Again, much to the chagrin of my fantasy season because he carried me until the playoffs. So just bad luck again. I think they give this is going to be a great series. I see it going 7. But
100%.
I'm picking Dallas for all the reasons that I picked them to win the West, and arguably be my cup team. Is that they just have this amazing first line: Hintz, Robertson, Pavelski. They're dirty as hell. Jamie Benn, the resurgence he's had. Tyler Seguin, the resurgence he's had. The kid stepping up. Ty Dellandrea, Wyatt Johnson. They're just so well built. They have all they have. Oh my God, yeah. They have the forwards to score. They have the role players to play their roles. I think Miro Heiskanen, as always, is going to be a great defenseman. He's going to bring it. And I think Jake Ottinger has quietly been an incredible story this year. And I think for all those reasons, and the fact, of course, it's Pete DeBoer, and he's got more experience than Dean Evison, and he's got that JD packed in his back pocket. I got Dallas winning this one in 7.
Yeah.
See, what shocks me there is like I agree with everything you said about Dallas. For me, I don't see it on Minnesota's side. Like I look at this Dallas team, like you said. You got Jason Robertson, superstar in the game, great mix of veteran talent and young guys stepping in. Ottinger's was a god last year for the part that he played.
Yeah.
I see it in like Dallas in 4 or 5. Like that's where I don't trust Minnesota. I don't trust Kaprizov being 100% healthy. They're gonna need him big time to have any shot here. And like Boldy's amazing, but he's also quite young, and he can't be relied upon to do all the heavy lifting without this superstar. So I just see it Dallas in 5 for most of the reasons you said. Dallas is a really, really great team. Really great team. Depth right down the fucking... Heiskanen is a horse, man.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. You got a horse and a solid goalie like that and depth. That's a recipe for success in my book.
Yeah, Dallas just plays this game where you're like, you don't know how to beat them, because for me, Dallas has always been a team that was so old. They were always an older team. Now all of a sudden they've got this infusion of, Tyler Dellandrea, Wyatt Johnson, Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz. Like, it's like, wow, all of a sudden all the youth has come out all at once, right? Miro Heiskanen youth, Ottinger youth, minus the fact that they have the worst jerseys and worst logo in the league. I love
oh my
Dallas
God,
as a
yeah.
team. Like, man, they play great. Like, they play great hockey because it's defensive, but it's like the perfect mix between like the Vegas Golden Knights and then having those and having that Edmonton Oilers-esque speed, right? Where where they can just turn it on. That mix, I think, will just slowly but surely wear down the Minnesota Wild, who again another great team that I love because they just Matt Zuccarello, most underrated player in the league, like just gross and fits so well. They had their chemistry is great on that line. But they won't be able to contain Dallas. And Jake Ottinger, man, again, another, how many goalies have we talked about today that are just, are literally deciding our series and how we're choosing here? Jake Ottinger's fantastic. He's big. He's composed. But he's one of those big goalies that doesn't swim. He still plays aggressive. And as a goaltending coach, I preach that, right? Jake Ottinger is fantastic and can win them the series. I'm going Dallas in 6.
Okay. No, and I love your point about the infusion of youth, right? You got it's the young kids, but then you also have the Bens, right? And the Pavelskis. Like, those are guys I want in the playoffs. Those are guys in the room who don't have to say a fucking word. They just lead by example.
That's right.
Like if Pavelski just looks in my eyes and like I'm fucking terrified. Like that guy means business. Or Ben gives me the fucking stare. I'm like, okay, I gotta play better now.
I would not mess with Jamie Benn ever in my life.
I love that guy.
Guy's a bear.
No, they just get it, man. They just get it, and I think DeBoer is really, the guys love DeBoer there. They're going to play for him.
Yeah.
And whereas Minnesota, like Fleury, he's had the yips in the playoffs. The awful turnover against Montreal, in the Vegas series. It's arguably the worst turnover of goalies. What the fuck, as a goalie, John Ramo, what was he thinking on that play?
You know what, man? It's every goalie has one in their career. Every goalie's done it, right? It's not just him. I've done it, dude. I've given up a goal from center ice before. We've all had moments in our life that you want to take back on the ice as a goalie. But
he's had a few of those, though.
I know, but his resume speaks for itself. He's a Hall of Famer, right? Like there's no way I can ever talk poorly about the Flower. He's unbelievable. And listen, we all make mistakes, right? Like Man, I watched us against Boston blow a 3-1 lead, and then I watched like our goalies giving slap shots from the blue line. It's no different. And this is why I think we've all focused on goaltending today. Because look at all the mistakes we talk about costing series. It's not, the missed fucking open net chances from our forwards. It's about the one goal our goalie didn't save. Goaltending wins you championships. It's a cliche that's always stuck around and is always rings true. It's going to ring true again in this series. Man, there are some unreal goaltenders out here. Let's see which one takes the cake this year.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. And I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
This to me is the best series in the West. I got the top three in my opinion. It's this one.
I don't know about that.
It's this one, Rangers and Devils, and the Leafs series. Those are the three that I will watch every game of most engaged. What do you guys think? What are your top three to wrap things up?
Leafs series for sure because of all the drama. Rangers for sure. Edmonton.
Yes.
I want to watch the Stars go at it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Toronto, Tampa, just because there's fireworks. But you know what? I won't actually pick them. I'm going with Boston, Florida. I think it could be a slaughterfest. There could be goals galore. I'm going Boston, Florida. I'm definitely going Edmonton and LA. I mean, that's going to be wild. And how can you not pick the Rangers and Devils? It might be the best playoff series out there. That is going to be unbelievable.
Yes.
And biggest snoozer is definitely going to Carolina and whoever the hell they play. Is it the Islanders again?
Islanders.
That's
oh boy,
Fuck
that is going to be brutal. So those are my three best, and that's my worst.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, boys. Yep. Well, as always, it's been a pleasure. I always look forward to this one, and it definitely lived up to the hype this time around. It's so fun talking hockey with you guys, especially playoffs, and I'm just fired up for Monday. My bird arrives Tuesday night, just as the Leaf game will be on. So I'll be watching from an airport bar.
Wow!
And very very excited for that.
That's it. Hopefully we can get one. Like hopefully we can we can watch a couple of them and
oh my god, yeah!
Like all three of us, we can definitely get something going.
Absolutely.
I think it'll be exciting, and it doesn't just have to be Leaf games. I'm down for any game.
Yeah,
even if it's Carolina and the Islanders, I'll watch it. So,
well, famously, John Ramo started last year. Remember, Pittsburgh Rangers had that marathon overtime game.
Yeah.
Nick and I were cuddling up in his bed for the whole game.
That was great.
That was
and it was so great.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, Nick, I was like, the Leafs have their obligatory loss to the shitty Canucks once a year, and I'm pretty sure they got smoked like 5-1 that night. So, we all know the way it goes.
That was very well said.
I just think like my last comment would be this might be one of the most exciting first rounds for every team I think we've seen in a long time. Like I think this is poised to be one of the best, most entertaining playoff or Stanley Cup runs I think that we're going to see. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yes, let's all keep our eyes to the phones and look for days to come together.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, it's going to be a great 2 weeks, boys. So, really looking forward to it. Yep. It's been a pleasure, as always, Rink Moose audience, to serve you. We hope you enjoyed. Look forward to our next episode where we'll recap all these series. And, we'll go from there. So, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to serve you. Enjoy the playoffs. Have a good night.